thought it would be fun to have a shop.
It would. I guess reminded me of a little kid when they're like, I thought it would be fun to play store.
I just wanted to play store a little bit with Chloe.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
You all right?
I mean, Mercury in retrograde is she's
a real
just,
thing.
She's just doing what she's going to do to everyone, I feel like.
She's the worst. But Friday, I think it's done.
I think, is it the 14th? Is that Friday?
Wait,
I think it's the 14th. Because I made travel plans that fell outside of old Mercury.
I don't know. I was just listening to my Chani app earlier.
And I know people say like, and I think even Chani said like, it's not supposed to be a bad Mercury retrograde. It's supposed to like teach you things or whatever. But like what it's teaching me is like just a lot of bullshit's going to happen, you know? A lot of bullshit is going to happen and you have to roll with it.
We're still in a tumultuous zone, says Chani. The tumult can be really important. It can get us to a very specific and very helpful breakthrough, perhaps.
All right.
This is like, hey, we're not going to be here for a very long time, so we might as well go for the thing we really want to go for. It's about personal freedom.
All right. Well, let me tell you what's been going on with me, and then you tell me what I'm supposed to learn from it.
No, I don't like this assignment already. I'm not here for this assignment. I'm not going to do that at all.
If you can find a silver lining, I'll be like, okay,
by Sunday, Mercury stations direct.
Okay.
Which is the 14th. You're correct.
So here is what Mercury has been doing. First of all, not to me.
Okay.
All of my friends, all of my writer friends are all going through a really rough time. It's actually affecting me the least because, as I pointed out last week, I'm not currently on a show that has been struck. So I just went from being like underemployed to underemployed. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not.
Sure,
and
I get that.
I was doing okay. But all of my friends, I really feel for them. And one friend in particular was having a rough week. And then her dog got skunked in her yard.
Which is the worst. It is the worst.
Which is the worst.
I have to say.
And it skunked like her whole house, basically. Like her whole house was flooded
well, you
with
can't
skunk.
get that smell out.
Exactly. And she is like a single person and lives by herself. And she was just feeling overwhelmed. So I was like, listen, I'm going to send my sons over with like our little carpet cleaner, everything. And I believe my son Eli will actually stay and help you clean your house because he loves that. So take advantage because he loves you and he loves cleaning. And so let him help you.
We love that. Yeah.
Exactly. And then Lincoln will take your dog out and, you know. But I made a joke saying, like, what she tweeted about her dog getting skunked. And then I made a joke saying, do you want me to have my dogs call your dog and talk to her about not pulling stuff like this? But they have to do it today because Sunday is the day where they eat bees or steal chocolate to celebrate the fact that their vet's office is closed. Like I made that joke. On Sunday, Birdie somehow just got a bird, caught a bird, a live bird, and swallowed it whole in front of us when we told her to drop it. And we were like, what do you do when your dog swallows a live whole bird? So we had to, on Sunday, not the second Sunday in a row, we skipped one Sunday between emergency Sunday vet visits. We had to bring Birdie to the vet. And they were, of course, cracking up that a dog named Birdie swallowed a bird whole. And then they did an x-ray and they were like, there's the bird inside her.
No. They could see it?
Yeah. And then they just they said it should be fine or whatever. But of course we were panicking. She was happy as shit that she ate a bird.
Well, I guess my question to you is like, what's the concern? Isn't that what dogs do? You know that Gina's a bird killer.
For sure.
But we've never witnessed. We've just seen the aftermath.
here was our concerns. The bird was like probably alive, or at least for part of it. The second thing we were concerned with is it was a pretty big bird and Birdie's a small dog. The third thing I was worried about is she has had intestinal blockages before. So I was worried that it was like going to get stuck.
I don't
in
even
her.
understand. How did she swallow it fucking whole? I don't get it.
She just like, I think maybe it like bonked into one of our windows or something and was like stunned. But then she just went right away and got it. She just happened to be out there at the right moment, had it in her mouth. I don't want to be too graphic, but let me just say that its tail and back legs were hanging out of her mouth still, you know. And Matt ran outside and he was like, Birdie, drop it. And then she just like gulp, gulp, gone. The whole tail went down.
So I think it's safe to say that the bird probably wasn't alive.
At that point, no, well, I
think she bit the bird in half.
I hope so for the bird's sake, but I feel like there was movement. You know what I'm saying? Like there was in-mouth movement.
So fucking terrible.
It was so gross.
This is like the worst thing I've ever heard. I'm so sorry. That sounds really traumatic.
It was so gross. And then I was like, it serves me right for like making a joke about how my dogs have to go to the vet every Sunday, the special expensive Sunday vet.
It's like serves you right.
I made a fucking joke about it. Yes. And so then that happened. And then
I mean, you should know better than to make a joke like that.
I
mean,
should.
I'm just gonna say.
know.
Guys,
But
we all need to know better than to make jokes that are tempting.
Let me ask you a question.
Fates.
When have I ever thought of a joke and then stopped myself from saying it? Very rare. Rare thing for me. I always have to say the joke because I'm a fucking idiot. Anyway.
You're not an idiot, Caissie.
Birdie ate a bird. And then they were like, yes, bowel obstruction in the past. We're going to give her some medication to help like move it along.
Oh my God.
And so she's just been like explosive poops and like can't always make it outside. So I've just been like policing the house, have stepped in poop. Thank God it wasn't like bird skeleton poop. But then just this morning she had an accident on the floor and I think it had like the spines of some of the feathers.
Stop it.
I'm just saying. So it's coming out. The bird is coming out. I know.
I can't.
So
just
gross.
Please, no more.
It's so gross.
No more.
But then anyway, then just the other thing is like, I went to the picket line yesterday. I brought a bunch of Element. I don't know if they're advertising on today's podcast, and I don't know if they support the strike, but they're supporting it through me. I brought Element, and everyone was very excited for that. But while I was like picketing, I got the worst case of hiccups.
Oh, no.
And a minor thing to have hiccups, like whatever, but I did like every trick I could think of to get rid of the hiccups. And I'm like a frequent hiccuper. This was the hardest case of hiccups I've ever had. And I've had them like for, going on 24 hours now. Knock on wood, I haven't hiccuped since we've been talking, but I've broken blood vessels in my face from how hard I've been hiccuping, which I've never done that before. I've broken blood vessels in my face from throwing up before. Has that ever happened to you? Like in your eye? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've never
had it from, okay, ready?
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be like crying, from crying.
From crying. Okay.
I've broken blood vessels in my face from crying.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
okay.
also from screaming.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I guess I'm not much of a screamer and I guess I don't cry that hard, but I've only ever broken them from like child labor and vomiting, but I never broke them hiccuping. But I just noticed this morning I have like a bunch of broken blood vessels on my face from hiccuping. I'm like probably like that girl that was on the Today Show that had the hiccups for years. And then she murdered someone, I think.
She did? I didn't know that was the end of the story.
I think so. Wait, was it
Damn.
hiccups or sneezes?
No, there was the hiccup girl. I remember.
Okay. All right. I think the hiccup girl murdered someone. I hope I'm not disparaging her, but I think she did.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Well, if she didn't, then she's fine.
What's the lesson when your dog eats a bird and you have the hiccups so bad you break blood vessels in your face?
Well, I mean, we just discussed, I'm sorry. We just discussed what the lesson was in terms of Birdie eating the bird, which is that you tempted the fates
Right.
by tweeting a joke. Was the
Right.
joke worth it? It was not.
No, it wasn't. You're right.
And so then I think that's the lesson. Like you have to evaluate whether the joke is worth it or not.
You're right. You're right.
So I think that's an important lesson, I'm going to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I have like Schadenfreude for myself. You
The
know?
hiccups, I'm not sure what that has to do with anything. I don't know.
I think the lesson is just like, don't get too comfortable. Cause like the weather's pretty nice and like, everything, knock on wood, I've done everything that I'm supposed to do lately. And, and I'm like feeling pretty good physically. So I feel like the hiccups are just like, no, but we'll come along and make sure that you don't get too comfortable today on this beautiful day where everything's fine.
But then also you got rid of them.
I mean, I think so. Just now, like they just stopped this morning. So,
Well, you didn't have them during sleep. Sleeping.
That's another thing. I didn't really sleep last night because a couple houses down had a fire.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
It was terrible.
Are they okay?
I think everything's okay, and it's renters in the house, but I think something happened with their grill. Like maybe they thought their grill was extinguished and it set fire to the back of their house. But there were fire trucks there forever, and then they were sawing all night because I think they were trying to like remove like smoldering timbers from the house. So I don't know.
Sure.
Eli will give me the entire report later. I'm sure he'll find out everything that's happening. But so it was just like sawing all night in my quiet little neighborhood.
Oh my God, that sounds terrible.
A couple houses down. I know. I hope everything's okay. It seemed like everyone was safe. Like it was just fire trucks and not ambulances.
Yeah, but even still, there's nothing scarier to me than that.
Oh,
house fires.
Yeah, I mean, oh God,
I just think it's very scary.
Yeah, but so anyway, I did have hiccups throughout the night. That's how I know I had them. What's going on with you?
I mean, the construction just started because we're doing this podcast. It's unbelievable. No noise all day. And now
I was going to ask you that. Is it like very quiet until we start recording?
Yes,
And then
it is. It's crazy. Wait, it's quiet right now.
We're on the same schedule.
Yeah, I guess we are. Wait, I have to pee.
Okay.
Let me pee because and I'll be right back. And then we'll get into what I'm doing. All right. I'm back. Okay. We could start the podcast now. I was just like when I got back, I was just filling Caissie in about some like kid stuff. But it sort of relates to everything because I think it's really relatable in just that feeling of feeling like there are no repercussions for others, but you have to like bear the brunt of the thing. And I was like, I've been thinking about, the gun issues and like the fucking, it's so, at this point, like, I can't, my brain is about to like quit. Because it's the same thing. It's like we're stuck in a bad fucking movie where like everybody watching the movie knows what's happening and we're stuck in that before the end of the second act, like where everything is just like you're being made to feel fucking crazy because nothing is changing at all. And these motherfuckers are just like the government. Like it's literally the government is against us. The government is against us.
It's Groundhog Day. And
it's the most insane. Like we are all collectively Denzel Washington in a movie where the government is like trying to like arrest you and put you in jail for trying to kill you.
Right. Fox News recently put a graphic up that like Fox News viewers were strongly in favor of better gun control. And I'm like, that's it. We've been saying, like, if you read the polling, if you read everything, Americans are strongly in favor of better gun control.
But it's all of it. It's all of it. It's like we've been fucking like they allowed this truly, at this point, I'm like, what the fuck is driving these people's, quote, beliefs? What the fuck is driving them? Because also it's just like, money? That's it? That's it? Because if it's fucking just money, I swear to God, what a disgrace.
I mean, Busy, our Supreme Court is corrupt.
Correct. I just am like, to what? This is it. To what fucking end? To what end, I ask? Because are the cruises worth it? Is the wine worth it? Are the vacations worth it to these fucking cocksuckers? I can't, and I know so many people listening, I cannot look at one more child or entire family that has been wiped out by some fucking white supremacist. I can't. I just can't fucking physically do it. And I hear what they're saying, people online or whatever, like, we should have to look at it. It should be on that's all these people should have to see. That's all, like, the Republicans, these politicians, maybe that's what they need to see. I'm convinced.
Right.
And I'm showing up. I'll do whatever. I'll fucking call. But it doesn't matter because Chuck Schumer and Kristen Gillibrand are for sensible gun control. And those are my fucking people. And like the people I vote for politicians that are in favor of that shit. And I make calls and I'll go to a fucking protest or whatever. But like, Caissie, they're just trying to fucking kill us all.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't think that seeing those images is going to affect someone who, if you're not affected by now,
they don't care. They literally don't care.
One picture of, or however many pictures of someone that's not connected to their lives personally matter to them. Because, like, think about it. Like, okay, pictures of gun violence are traumatic and traumatizing. And so, like, maybe that would give a certain person pause or whatever. But these people don't fucking care about shit. They don't want people to have health care. They want people to die in a million different ways.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're like, they want women to die either like in childbirth, trying to, or whatever. They like don't give a fuck about women dying. They don't care about,
if anyone has health care or dies of some curable disease that could have otherwise been handled. They also want children to be born so that they can like die in school, apparently. Or at the mall or whatever the fuck. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know why they're like they are.
Because they're not human. I think it was like just about around when Donald Trump, I don't know, whatever. When I first started hearing like QAnon, like conspiracy theory things.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I was like, oh, that's because that's just what they do. Like, that's why they're accusing it's like, it's like farting. Because like the lizard people thing.
Right. They think that Joe Biden is a lizard person.
Like, yes. I don't even know what that fucking means. But I think they're lizard people. Like, I'm like now at the point where I'm like, oh, they're not human. They are no longer humans because they have such little thread left in them of humanity, which is like empathy and understanding and like a desire to allow everyone to live in peace. That's like not, that's why reasonable, critical thinking, reasonable decision making, that's what makes us human.
Right.
They're not human.
Right.
Animals can use their thumbs. They can make tools and animals can do lots of things. Like our ability to reason and think critically and make decisions based upon that is our uniquely humanness.
Yeah. I mean, here's where I'm like, okay, so Republicans that do believe in gun control, because I have to believe there's a great many, because I saw it on fucking Fox News, that the majority of Americans, that includes a lot of people that vote Republican. So here is my quibble is with people that continue to vote that way because they're like, well, we disagree on guns, but what? Like, but what? That have some dignity.
Also, like at this point, are you down with like ladies from your church dying from a miscarriage sepsis situation? Is that cool for you? Are you chill with that?
I mean, it's also complicated because I think that you'll find a lot of people that don't want kids to be killed, but would be fine if the odd lady died of a miscarriage, you know? People are complicated, but I'm like, if your people aren't representing you.
But also kids can be killed if they're at a mall or.
Yeah, right.
In a church
right.
or in school.
Right. And so I'm just like, you know, again, like Groundhog Day, again with the thoughts and the prayers, but I'm like, let me ask you, what are the fucking thoughts? What are the thoughts you're having that you're always saying that you're having? I'd love to hear the thoughts.
How much money the NRA put in their bank account last year?
It's really, really a mess.
But the other part that is so wild to me is the percentage of people that have been brainwashed into like holding these these beliefs, if you can even fucking call them that.
Right.
Because most of the politicians, I have to say, I think most of these fucking dickwad politicians are just purely motivated by greed.
Yes. And like, I've been thinking about it a lot. I think greed, yes. Like, I think Clarence Thomas, obviously, greedy motherfucker. You know, he's not a politician.
He is a politician, by the way.
But I also think it's like something that we might not even have a word for. You know what I mean? It's like this feeling of being like elite and untouchable and in some kind of like very tight, small, secret circle where you just walk the earth doing whatever the fuck you want.
Oh my God, breaking news.
What?
A jury found Donald Trump liable for the sexual abuse and defamation of E. Jean Carroll.
Wow.
But they rejected her rape accusation, which sucks.
That does suck. But, I mean, anyway, I think it's something more than greed. I think it's, you know, and it applies to Donald Trump as well. It's something about being like, you know, well, people are always like, the Illuminati. I feel like it's almost something like belonging to something that is like the Illuminati, or feeling like you are, feeling like you're on the verge of being accepted into this strata of society where you are fucking untouchable and you get to dictate the ways in which all the rest of the people are touched. And I think it's like sadistic. A lot of people that are given that much power or take that much power are sadistic, and they like to see people struggle, because the more we all struggle, the more it means
superior they feel.
They're superior to the struggle, and they'll blame it on us and say we didn't work hard enough and we didn't raise ourselves up by our bootstraps. But I think they all know the truth. I don't think it's possible that they can all think like, I'm just here because like I was born elite. Like I was meant for this, you know? I was like, it was destined for me to be here. I mean, maybe they do. Maybe they do. I don't know. But I think it's like something more than greed, because people are greedy. You know, people on Wall Street are greedy. Like business people have a healthy sense of, you know, and by healthy, I mean like sizable sense of like, this is what I'm owed, this is what I'm worth, you know, but they don't go around like, not to a man, trying to like just murder the rest of the world, you know? For the most part, they're happy with their yachts and their vacations. So I think it has to be something more than greed. And yeah, maybe they are lizard people. I don't know. Although I feel like lizards are pretty peaceful. So I'm like, what are you scared of like lizard people? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a weird thing, but I've honestly had the thought like lizards don't really bother anyone. I don't know. Why are we scared of lizard people? But I'm just thinking like, I don't know, something maybe happens to your brain. Like I already think you have to be pretty egomaniacal on either side, if I'm being honest, to like pursue the highest stations that society has to offer. You know what I mean? Like I think you have to have a really, really strong ego to be able to get through all of that. And you have to be able to withstand torrents of criticism and like, yeah, people doing opposition research and trying to take you down. You know, that's what happens. And so I think you have to have a really, really, really strong ego to begin with. And then I just think it gets like perverted by power, and money is probably just like gravy on top of that.
I literally just don't know what to do anymore.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what there is to do beside what we've been doing. Like we're doing what's in our power to do, you know? And it's a scary place to be because it's coming for everyone. And I don't want to be the kind of person that is like, well, at least if it's coming for us, it's coming for them too. They're just as unsafe as we are. They're making themselves just as unsafe as we are. Like, I don't want to be that person that's like that fatalist.
Yeah, but like, I don't know how or whatever, but somehow I do feel like they managed to not be gotten. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, important people in the Republican Party have been shot and they've doubled down on their bullshit and just, you know, like lucky to survive and just double down on their bullshit instead of being like, oh, hey, you know what? Actually, being shot wasn't great. And so maybe it's not great that you can just go around shooting people. Maybe I should rethink that. But you know what? It's so weird. This is going to sound so weird and so mushroomy. But I was watching the Junior Bake Off show on Netflix.
Okay.
Where the little English kids are baking. And it was really interesting to me. And I think it is interesting. These kids are really super poised and super articulate. And like, obviously they're finding like the most fun kids in England, in the UK, who have like a passion for baking. But what I noticed is how much they admit mistakes. And they're like, I'm disappointed with how I did in that. I should have practiced it harder. That didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go. And so I'm not feeling too pleased with myself right now. And they're not only really good at articulating it, they're really good at just saying like, I thought a thing.
I was wrong.
And turns out I wasn't right about that. Yeah. And so like, now I'm telling you, like, that's why it went wrong. Right. And I'm like, it is really striking to me because not only can I not picture a lot of kids in the United States doing that, I can't picture a lot of adults in the United States doing that about anything. We are not good at saying we need to rethink things.
Well, it's so interesting that you bring this up because I was talking earlier today just about this, where I was like, why can't people change their minds? Like, why can't people get new information? Why is getting new information and deciding that you have a different stance on a thing considered a weakness in our culture? When, like, in actuality, it's just it's truly part of being a person. I mean, there are things that you're not right about. It's okay. Right. It doesn't mean you're a fucking idiot. And it doesn't mean you're not right about lots of other things too, by the way.
Right.
Sometimes it does. But I'm just saying, like, it's become this thing where, like, it would just be so fucking beautiful if for once one of these motherfucking decrepit old melting fucking douchebag dudes said, like, I'm rethinking this. I don't know. Give me a minute. I'm rethinking it. Yeah. Even just that. Not even like, because even with the abortion stuff, like, there's been leaks that, like, the Republican Party is rethinking their stance based on voter reaction. But no one that's like, maybe we should rethink how we're viewing this into, like, the impact. Maybe we need to, like, acknowledge the impact that this is having. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. It's just a totally different thing. One thing is, like, to continue to hold power. And the other thing is, like, wait, maybe I was wrong.
Because here's the thing. I don't trust the Republican Party. If they're rethinking their stance on abortion based on voter response, it's because they want to get votes.
Right.
And then once they get them, they'll do whatever the fuck they want anyway, because that's what they always do.
Correct. But, like, if literally one of these fucking NRA purchased motherfuckers said, I'm actually going to have to rethink my stance. I think maybe we do need, if Greg Abbott or one of these melty dudes, honestly, I would say, okay, respect for that. Let's see what you do with that.
Yeah. I'm always willing to give whatever meager credit where credit is due.
Ooh, because you know what I hate?
What?
I really hate when people, like, don't tell you the truth or whatever just to, like, cover their bases.
Yeah.
I really hate it.
Yeah. I mean, who would like it, you know?
Yeah, I really hate it.
Honestly, I've had the thought a million times, like, the only thing that'll ever get one of these guys to change their mind is if their child or their grandchild or their spouse, but even that, I bet not. I bet that they would be like, yes, even though my spouse, child, and grandchild were all shot, I still stand by our right to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even trust that would change anyone's mind, because I think that's,
like, I just really,
how fucked up.
I believe that. Yes, I'm with you on this.
Yeah.
But, like, why don't these people stop giving money to the NRA? Like, all the people there's so many people give money to the NRA. Like, even those people that are, like, answering on Fox News, they give money to the NRA. I'm sure they give money to the NRA. I'm sure they must.
I'm sure the NRA gets shady money from other countries that would, like, love to see the downfall of the United States as a superpower in the world.
Well, they're seeing it. So they're getting what they paid
their money's
for.
Worth. Yeah. Yeah.
I just really, not in a way that was like, super dramatic or whatever, but I really yesterday felt, and this morning a little bit when I said goodbye to the kids, I really for the first time felt this could be the last time I see my kids. I'm sending them out like into the world. And I really fully, but like almost like an eerie calm. This could be the last time they see me. But what surprised me the last 2 days about that feeling is how undramatic the feeling was for me.
Right.
That I was just like, fuck, well, what can, like, I literally was like, what can I do? And then I was like, nothing. There's nothing I can do.
Right. Right.
There's literally nothing I can do to keep them safe.
And then my thoughts are like, that's probably how they want us. And then also I think of, people in war-torn countries, and that's how they have historically talked about, well, this is how it is in this place because every day
we're how ripped
apart.
Yeah, this is how it is in this place.
Right.
We are in a war-torn country. Everyone who's saying like the next civil war is coming, baby, it's been here. We've been in it for the last decade. That's the fucking truth.
Yeah. And it's not factions of citizens against each other.
We're not, it's not, no one's wearing red coats or blue coats. It is literally happening every single day. And it's getting progressively more violent for sure.
It's a war on everyone.
It's a war.
On us.
We are in a civil war.
Yeah.
And by the way, fucking white supremacists. Majority, almost all men, one woman?
One woman?
I don't know. I can't even remember. Was there a woman? Mass shooter?
I mean, historically, there have been a few women mass shooters, but
there have?
Mostly men. Mm-hmm. Mostly men, though. Or they've participated in some way, but mostly men.
And most of them are radicalized in their beliefs.
Mm-hmm. And people always try to like, oh, but this one is this cultural background and not white. And I'm like, it doesn't, I mean, okay, great that you like got the details of like their DNA makeup or whatever, but it doesn't matter. It matters like what they cut their teeth on and where they were incubated like online. I'm like, anyone ordering tactical gear online, that should automatically...
It's not great.
Your name should automatically go on a registry.
Yeah, you shouldn't. By the way, no need for... What are you wearing it for?
That's what I'm saying. So automatically, if they're going to know what every single fucking one of us is doing at all times, they should keep a better eye on who's ordering tactical gear.
I wish that like politicians would acknowledge that this is like truly... This is a war. Because these motherfuckers are trying to kill us all.
Yeah. And it's hard, because like you were saying, I'm seeing the debate online, like whether we should look at the pictures or not. And I understand reasons why people think we should. And I understand reasons why people absolutely think we shouldn't. And I see the point in both arguments, but I'm just like, I'm not even getting into that argument because that's not even, to me, it's a distraction.
It's a distraction.
Right. So where we're having like this debate and I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. If someone's family wants people to see that picture and people feel like they can and they're strong enough, then I guess go ahead. But here's the thing, like I don't think a lot of people that seem unconvincible and have doubled and tripled down on this shit for so many years are going to be convinced by a picture. I don't think they care.
No, they for sure don't fucking care.
Right. So they don't care if people get kicked out of their houses. They don't care if people don't have houses. They don't care if they die of diseases. They don't. I mean, they just don't care.
Like that kid, Jordan Neely, that was murdered on the subway. it's been a rough moment. It's been a rough fucking moment. And like, it's hard to know where to place this stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how do you continue to how do you continue to, like, I don't know. I've just been thinking a lot about it. Like, is there a way to balance so that you don't disconnect completely? I do want to be clear. What I was like feeling yesterday and today was not disconnected. It was like the most connected I've ever felt to a truth, which is like that in this moment in time, I cannot guarantee my children's safety at all.
Right. You were resolved.
It's like a thing that I have spent a long time worrying, a long time thinking about, a long time trying to mitigate situations in my own head or making choices for them and where they are and where they live and what they do. And the fact of the matter is, I just realized right now, because of this country and because of the inefficiency of the government not enacting the will of the people in all ways across so many things that affect so many of us, my kids just aren't safe. My children are not safe when they walk outside of our home. And I'm not either.
Right.
Shannon Watts said this thing, like, the safest place you can be is an airplane.
I mean, yeah. I think it's interesting. I don't think that we can make any promises to our kids, you know, because they're here living this with us and they see it as much as we do. And that's what you always want to do as a parent, is make promises. I'm always going to be here for you. I'll always keep you safe. And we can't. We are not in a position to make those promises. By the same token, if we lived our daily lives with the amount of anxiety that this situation calls for, we'd all be frozen. We wouldn't be able to do a damn thing, you know?
Right. I mean, in a weird way, I have to say, I felt the last 2 days less anxiety than I have felt previously, because I just am like, it's fucked. We're fucked.
Right.
What am I going to tell them? Like, you can't. I mean, I don't even know.
What could you even?
What could I even say? There's nothing.
You couldn't.
Well, I mean,
you can't predict.
You know,
you can't predict. You can't protect.
No.
It's happened everywhere.
It's everywhere.
School,
it's everywhere.
The movies,
the street,
the mall. Anywhere you can go, it's happened. A doctor's office, a hospital, anywhere.
Flower shop,
anywhere. Church,
the grocery
mosque,
store.
The grocery store, cars, it happens all the time.
Kids playing hide and seek.
Right. So what are you how are you supposed to anticipate and warn? How are you supposed to anticipate and protect? It's not possible.
It's not possible. I'm going to remind everyone about our giving circle right now.
Yes.
You can find out more information on our Facebook or in the link in our bios on Instagram. I was so grateful, though, that I had remembered that I agreed to go meet Gail Simmons at City Harvest this morning and do like a volunteer day. Like a little little morning volunteer thing.
I'm glad. Well, you know what I was going to say, and I think earlier when you were saying, I just don't know what to do. I don't know what more I can do. This is how I see you living your life busy. I see you fighting and doing that part of it, but I also see you remembering that it can't all be fight. There has to be a balance of like kindness and caring for the people that are here and need that now. Because like the way I see it, like life is limited, you know? If we're lucky, we get 100 years here.
I'm going to have 105.
I hope you do. But if you have to spend 95 of those 105 just fighting, what is that life?
I know.
You know what I mean? And it's just like being kind to someone else and caring for someone else is also being kind to yourself and caring for yourself.
I swear to God, that was also in my horoscope.
Was it? Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm more astrologically in tuned. Maybe.
What's your rising sign?
My rising sign, I think, is Capricorn. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my moon is Scorpio.
Wow.
But I just think that, you know, that's what you can do. And that's what I see you doing. And I think that sometimes it feels like it's not enough. But then I just like want to remind you that it's enough to the person that you touched. You know what I mean? One of two things could happen to a person on any given day. Someone could do something terrible to them and treat them badly, or someone could do something kind and like see them and help them if they need helping. And, you know, and I see you doing that. I see you making a difference in the days of people. And so like whatever come what may with the world and our country and that individual person's life, you know, there's a lot of days where you've given someone, you've like made their day, you know?
That's really nice.
And well, I mean, it's true. And I hate to say like, that's all you can really do. But like, you know, at the end of anyone's life, I would hope that they had more good days than bad days. And so when you're like doing something to make sure someone eats or is clothed or gets something that they need, then, you know, that's worth doing too.
Meanwhile, I ran into Chloe Feynman from SNL. This relates.
Yes.
This relates.
Yes.
She and I both are Cancers. Mm-hmm. I've known Chloe for several years before she got SNL.
Right.
She did a great impression of me. And she was like,
I remember.
And I told you, she said I'm the only celebrity that's ever given her feedback on how to make it better. But anyway, I ran into her and she was with Molly, who's a new cast member on SNL, and was driving, and Molly had like all this stuff packed in the back of their car, and it was from Chloe's storage unit. And I was like, oh my God, Chloe, I have a storage unit too. And then Molly was like, what's with you bitches and your storage units? And I was like, we're Cancers. We both grew up on the West Coast. We both grew up on the West Coast. Like we moved to New York in the last several years. Like we have storage units. Anyway, we were discussing, because I have this whole rack of clothes. Birdie just came to Casa Kismet and is taking a nap in my bed right now, but like I'm sure had to shove over a pile of clothes because I have an extra clothing rack in there right now of all of these clothes that I'm like, what am I doing with these clothes? I got to get rid of these clothes. And, you know, I've done the Poshmark stuff before, but TBH, that was like with Poshmark, and they took the clothes from me and then did all the work, listed it, priced it, described it, and then shipped it out to people. So I didn't have to do anything except for like just donate the money. So then Chloe and I were like, why don't we just get like a space? There are all these like, you know, like Artists and Fleas or whatever. Do you know what that is? Yeah. There's this thing, guys, in New York and LA called Artists and Fleas. And basically it's like a space that they rent out little booths in the space. And it's there year round here. In Brooklyn and in Chelsea. And then in LA, I don't know where it is. I think it's in Silver Lake. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
But I was like,
I don't know.
Let's
I've never
look
been.
into how much it costs to rent a booth in Artists and Fleas, and let's just start selling our stuff. And for charity, you know, like, and give away stuff to charity. But then it's like, because then it's like, would you guys do that? Would you be into it if we did that?
You know what else people do? Have you seen people that do Instagram live sales?
No, I don't know how to do that. Wait, Chloe
Okay,
and I could do it
so-
together, though. I think it would be fun to do it with her.
Yes, it would be so fun. But I always see it with like, especially like plus size bloggers or influencers. Sometimes they get so many clothes because they're sent clothes or they buy clothes.
Wait, this is so much better. Tell me how to do an Instagram live sale. Let's do it right now. What am I doing?
They just go live on Instagram and they try things on and they talk like it's a talk show, or they hold things up and they say the details like this is from this store, it's this size, it was kind of loose on me. They hold up tape measures sometimes to show, and then they just say, here's what I'm asking for it. Put in the comments, the first person that comments, like I'll sell it to them and then you can like Venmo me the money or whatever. You know who does it is Carla Kakowski, Craig's wife, does it with like vintage items. She does little Instagram videos with vintage items. Her handle is like Jacaranda Eve Vintage.
Oh, okay, wait. But it's like I would need a different Instagram account for this. I don't want to gum up my Insta.
Do it on the podcast Insta.
Ooh, we could do that.
Yeah. And then Kirsten makes sure they Venmo'd and she gets their address and ships it out.
Okay. I thought it would be fun to have a shop.
It would. I guess reminded me of a little kid when they're like, I thought it would be fun to play store.
I just wanted to play store a little bit with Chloe. I just wanted to open a store with Chloe for the summer.
You definitely
just
can.
We got an East Coast and a West Coast branch, guys. I don't know. I just thought it would be fun and funny to do a store for the stars. That was the game. Oh my God. That was my fourth grade long-standing third, fourth, and fifth grade long-standing imaginary play game with my friends.
Oh my God.
Did you have that kind of stuff?
Where you like picked it up like a new episode every day when you got back together?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
of
We
course,
had
yeah.
so it was like long form improv role playing or whatever.
Yes.
that we did as like third, fourth, and fifth graders. Lisa Arbitman started it, Store for the Stars, because because we loved playing store, and her mom owned a store, and so she had these like old sales slip forms that we could use, and it felt very official because it had like a carbon copy. And so Store for the Stars, and my name was Flo Cola. FLO. Because historically speaking, my friends in elementary school always gave me the worst names, like the most embarrassing names come on, of course, obviously. Guys, I understand. I get it. But we loved Store for the Stars, and we used to take business meetings at Buster's and order a basket of bread and iced teas and sit at the high tops at the bar. And it was like the zucchini bread at Buster's was delightful. And we would have our store meetings. But so maybe what I actually am trying to do is start Store for the Stars. You're
trying to recreate Store for the Stars. You can do whatever you want, like you really can.
I mean, I just see like so many people do like stoop sales here in New York. It just feels like I don't like just like giving stuff to the real. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I get that.
Okay. One thing that I loved when we were meeting people in person on our tour was when people wore things that they had gotten from my Poshmark, and they're like, it's my favorite sweater, whatever. Because I feel really strongly about most things that I own. Like, I'm like the opposite of Marie Kondo.
Special.
Yeah, like everything brings me joy, and I like hold on to things for a long fucking time. And so for me, I want someone to cherish whatever
it feels
item
better
it is.
knowing that it's out there being loved.
As opposed to just like giving it to some company and them sort of like just whatever, like Buffalo Exchange or
right.
Crossroads or something like that. Like one of those.
Or somebody that's just going to like flip it.
They're just going to resell it. And like it's not like the person, we don't know who's going to end up with it. But I want somebody to really love the thing that they're taking from me.
I love that.
But so anyway, so that's I think why Store for the Stars is
Well, do Store for the Stars. I mean, listen, it can be both, by the way. Like you can sell things in person and you can sell them on Instagram. You can do whatever you want. You're your own boss.
That's true. That is actually true. So anyway, Store for the Stars or Instagram Live on Busy. Phillips is doing her best. Instagram.
On the show's Instagram, the podcast, the show.
This
the podcast,
show.
Instagram. This show.
The show. We're doing a show.
It is, but I didn't want to be confusing.
Wait, I had another thing that was funny to tell you.
Oh, tell me. We need a little.
I know, I'm trying to switch gears, guys, in case you can't tell. Also, Birdie's in the next room. I don't want to, can't bring that mood down. My friend Irene Neworth was in town.
Oh, yes. Jewelry designer extraordinaire. Irene Neworth.
Because she's got a very beautiful store here now. And we went to dinner and she was like, you and Mark have to come together so I can see you both. And I was like, sure, of course, because we hang out. That's fine.
Yeah. So
we went to dinner and it was with our other friend Bonnie. So it was Bonnie and me and Irene and Mark. And this restaurant was so extravagantly delicious, like some upper fancy East Side restaurant. Like I'm so not. It's so funny. Like I'm just like, whatever.
You're casual.
I'm a casual gal, guys. I don't go to the fancy New York places. I know that they exist. I just am not. The fanciest I've ever been was at the Polo restaurant, Polo Bar or whatever it's called. It's Polo Bar?
Polo Lounge?
Polo Lounge. You see? I don't even know. Don't even know, guys. I'll be at 7th Street Burger. Thanks a lot. Anyway. And Derek Blasberg was there, like, I
know him.
Of course. And as he was like walking out, he like stopped to say hi to us. And I haven't seen him in years. And he was like, oh, you moved here. Wait, what's happening? Did you don't have a house in LA anymore? Blah, 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 blah. And then he said, Mark was like sitting across from me next to Bonnie. And I was sitting next to Irene in the booth. And then he like points at Mark and he's like, hey, man. And Mark's like, hi. And he's like, aren't you guys like, what? You're like on a break?
God.
And it made me laugh so fucking hard because I was like,
oh my God.
Are we your Ross and Rachel? It was like, no, I mean, like, you guys broke up. Like, I think he just misspoke, but the way that he said it was so funny and made me laugh so hard. And I was like, I love that you're Ross and Rachel and you've been really thinking about our break. Anyway.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Good one, Derek Blasberg.
Good one. So we're in a civil war. Chloe and I want to sell our stuff for charity. And I just really secretly want to have Store for the Stars.
Yeah.
And I'm going to see you in a couple weeks.
Yes.
Really soon.
Yeah, really soon. I'm leaving very soon to head out.
Do you need anything for it?
I don't know. I'm just kind of like, you know what? Let's go to our interview with your friend Sofia
Black D'Elia.
Black D'Elia, star of Single Drunk Female. And then maybe she's amazing. And it was so nice to meet her. And she's super charming and so smart. Let's talk about that. And then I'll talk a little bit about maybe when we come back, because maybe it has to do with what we're doing our best at.
Okay, great. So you guys, please enjoy the delightful Sofia Black D'Elia. Sakara Life. I just love singing it. Sakara Life.
It is a classic.
It really is. Listen, if you're like everyone else, you're very busy. Everyone is. And Sakara delivers ready-to-eat, plant-rich meals that help you look and feel your best, even during weeks of back-to-back meetings or happy hours. It is delicious. They are meals delivered right to your door. And it's so much more than a meal delivery program, I would say. It's like a nutritional program.
Yeah, it's like having a nutritionist and a personal chef all in one coming to your place.
I know, because they're designed very well to meet goals, whatever it is. Clearer skin, boosted energy, but they're also incredibly delicious. I've been a fan forever. I love it. Highly recommend checking it out. Especially, I don't know, people have a lot of events coming up. There are things they want to like have clear skin and be, sometimes you just need a little detox. I know I needed one from the amount of sugar and gummy bears I've been consuming on set,
Right. Yeah. Or maybe you just want to feel good so that you can like jump into summer and be active.
And that's what I mean. Like, just like, well, if I'm going to be river rafting, you'll hear about it later, guys. Anyway, Sakara delivers science-backed, plant-rich nutrition programs, wellness essentials right to your door. Their ready-to-eat meals are nutritionally designed to deliver results from weight management and eased bloat to boosted energy and clearer skin. I'm telling you, people will say your skin is glowing after you do 3 days of Sakara. I'm
for sure
not kidding. And right now, Sakara is offering our listeners 20% off their first order when they go to sakara.com/best or enter code BEST at checkout. That's Sakara, SAKARA.com/best to get 20% off your first order. Sakara.com/best. Base luggage. Everybody's getting ready for summer with Base. Guys, we're obsessed. You've heard us talk about Base before. I literally was like telling Andrew, my driver, about Base. Did I tell you this? He like complimented my Base bag, and I was like, thanks. It's called Base Travel, and it was created by an actress, Shay Mitchell. I literally gave Andrew the whole spiel about Base because he was like, that's a really nice bag. I'm like, thank you.
He sees a lot of bags, that guy.
He sees a lot of bags.
It's worth spreading the word about. Base has made my life so much easier. And I like that it's a cool looking bag, but also I really need it to be functional. So the way that my weekender bag slips over the handle of my rolling carry-on bag is such a huge deal. And the way that the weekender has space for shoes in the bottom of it.
That's my favorite part because I think shoes are gross. I'm a shoe-free household. You walk in the door, you take your shoes off. And the only exception is if it's like literally the day when the floors are getting cleaned. And then I'm just like, whatever, it's fine because they'll be cleaned this afternoon. But like truly... You guys, you have to understand, Caissie and I love this luggage so much that just outside of these ads, Caissie sent me their new colors that they just debuted, and we were like debating which ones we wanted to buy because we're obsessed with Base. I was thinking about buying Birdie some Base luggage to go to Sweden.
Very
Don't
smart.
Tell her. She's in the next room. Don't tell her.
That's a great gift.
You guys,
I think she'd appreciate.
It's the best luggage, period. Right now, Base is offering our listeners 15% off your first purchase by visiting basetravel.com/best. Go to basetravel.com/best for 15% off your first purchase. That's Base, BEIS, travel.com/best.
Hi. Hi, Busy.
How's it going?
Good. I just I kept connecting to my husband's call in the other room, and I apparently hung up on his call like 4 times. He's very frustrated.
Honestly, it's complicated.
It's very hard for me.
It's weird. It's hard for everyone, and we talk about this because we're like, after the pandemic, like, shouldn't we all have been? We should be so well versed at using Zoom and the like, but honestly, no.
It doesn't come naturally to me. It never has, and I don't think it ever will.
No, it really doesn't. We're so excited to talk to you.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God. Sophia, we're talking
Busy.
we're talking to Sofia Black D'Elia, who you guys know from Single Drunk Female, but you probably know her from lots of other things too, like the Mick. You were really good in the Mick. You felt very young on that show. You're playing a teenager, but how old were you?
I think I was 25.
It's pretty young. Have
Yeah.
you been acting since you were a kid?
I got my first job when I was 17.
On All My Children.
That's right.
That I know.
That is true.
Because I have a lot of soap opera friends, and even though I haven't watched soap operas in a long time, I still read like the soap news, the online soap news gossip, because it's so fun for me. So I do remember when you were on All My Children.
Yeah, that was my first job. I was a senior in high school.
You
So
grew
I
up
would,
in New York, though, right? Or New Jersey?
I grew up in Jersey.
And did you always want to be an actor?
No.
How did it happen? How did it happen? I'm so curious. This is like because you and I loved working with you so much. Obviously, because I've like effusively talked about it any time anyone asks. But I'm so curious. I like doing this with friends and people I work with because then I get to find out things I don't know. So like, how did it happen?
Before she answers, we should just say Sofia is the star of Single Drunk Female, a great critically acclaimed show. And Busy is in season 2, and they work very closely together in season 2.
I do feel like I just said that because I was like, you guys know her from...
Yeah, but we didn't say that you were in this season of the show. It's helpful. Believe me. It's helpful to reiterate. It's more information's better than less.
I feel like people need to just do their own research, Caissie. You know how I feel.
Well, okay.
I feel like they gotta do a lot. Like we're doing too much work for them already. You know what I mean?
I'll be the one who gets the emails asking, "What show is that? Is Busy on it?"
And I'll be the one to tell you, fucking ignore them. Go on with your life. Anyway, okay,
go ahead.
Sophia,
Yes.
tell me, how did it happen? How did it start? This wasn't like you weren't a Broadway baby, like making your parents drive you into the city to audition for musicals and whatnot. Like, how did this all transpire?
I really didn't know. I think if I had been introduced to the world sooner, maybe I would have wanted it sooner, but I just didn't know any actors. I didn't grow up around it. It wasn't something that was familiar to me at all. I really wanted to be a basketball player when I was a kid. My parents very sweetly at a young age were like, that's not in the cards for you.
You're a teeny tiny person. You're a miniature human. They saw it.
Sorry. Yeah. But that's what I really wanted to do when I was a kid. And then I went to this dance school in Jersey that had like a musical theater class. And I just started sort of hamming it up and make like really, really got addicted to making people laugh. And
it's addictive.
It's addictive. And then there was this sort of like summer on camera camp or something at the dance school.
Sure.
And all the older girls were doing it. And I just wanted to do what the older girls were doing. And I followed them around like a little puppy. And so I begged my mom to let me do it with them. And the guy that ran it was a children's agent at CESD, and which is a sort of young adult, I guess, agency in the city and stuff. And he had said to my mom, Sophia's pretty good at this. Like, would you be interested in sending her out for auditions? And my mom was like, no, I work. I know this is yet another thing. I was like, I was playing volleyball, basketball, and I was in dance school. And she was just like, enough with this kid. I don't want to do anything else with this kid.
By the way, I have to say, I'm with your mother as the parent of teens. It's like exhausting, schlepping kids around to everything.
Yeah. And she was like, so you're telling me you want me to drive her into the city in rush hour traffic, wait in the car for an hour because I'm not going to be able to find a spot, and then drive her back?
Yeah, so she can be rejected.
She's worked all day. Yeah, absolutely not. But we came up with a deal. I could go on a certain amount of auditions a month or whatever, and she was amazing about that, and was really supportive and really sweet, and I was so bad at it. I think I really can't believe how, like, when I think about those early auditions, I'm so bad at it. Just had no idea what I was doing. Was really nervous all the time. And then the second I got to a set, that's when it clicked for me. And that's when I was like, this is something I want to do. I actually, I think I'm kind of falling in love with this. And then it's sort of snowballed from there. But it wasn't until I was on an actual set, I think, that I really loved it at all.
That's a really interesting point, Sophia, that I don't think anyone's ever really brought up, is that like auditioning is totally different than actually having the job. And it's kind of like it's a hard thing that you have to go through to get to the good part. But like, it's also a totally different experience.
Yeah. And you know, when you've never done anything like that before, and all of a sudden you're in a room with 20 other kids, and you know, you're like, I didn't know what a monologue was. Right. You know, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but I really did. I just was just like, I have no idea what's happening right now. And so you're not
like me, who was in acting classes and like summer programs in schools since I was 7 years old.
Right.
Like,
where it's familiar to you.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And you can sort of understand what that process is. Even it's still obviously stressful and horrible and whatever, but you sort of understand what it means to go in that room and whatever. Like I was just so lost. And then I actually started acting and had a character and all that stuff and scene partners. And I got this sort of, this is a cool summer camp vibe, and everyone's weird like me. And
you're joining the circus.
I'm joining the circus. And then I sort of fell in love with the circus.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot to love in the circus. I would say.
Yeah, especially when you're like 18, you know, and you're like, all my friends were going to college, and I was like, I'm going to the circus.
I'm going to go be in the MTV Skins.
Yeah, exactly. So fun. It was so fun. I remember our boom operator saying to us, it's never going to be this fun again. Like what you guys are doing, right? Like it was everyone's first job.
Yeah.
We were 17, 18, 19 years old. Everyone was just partying every night.
Yeah.
Everyone's hooking up with everyone. You know, we're all in like this weird bubble in Toronto. And like, it was, and he was right. He was like, this is a very specific experience for you guys. And this is not what it's like normally. And we were like, fuck you, man. This is how it's going to be forever.
That was like what Freaks and Geeks was like for me. Like, it was very similar. Like, except
how
we were in LA.
When you did that?
I was 19.
Wow.
And we were all, I mean, the kids, the geeks were like actually kids. Like they were like 15, 14, 15. Seth was 17, I think.
Wow.
Just crazy. Wow. Martin Starr was like 16 or 17. And then Jason Segel and I were the same age. Linda's a couple of years older. Franco was a couple of years older. But it was just like so fun and wild. And we were so grateful. And we had the best time.
Do you think you were aware of it in the moment? Like, this is such a party. This is such an, or was it, you're a kid, so everything just feels like, of course, this is amazing and happening to me.
Well, it's interesting because my boyfriend at the time, Colin Hanks, was on another teen show called Roswell. And he was like a little jealous of our vibe and our show. And he liked to come and hang out with our cast. And like,
so you had the comparison of this other show that wasn't as fun.
Yeah, a little bit, I think. And there was just such a, also we were in LA. We weren't in Toronto, or away from home, which is a totally different experience. Like when I went to Dawson's Creek, obviously I joined late in the game, but they, I think, had that experience in the first year of that show because they were like just basically like on an island, you know, all being young and making so much money all of a sudden. Like you can't even imagine, like I, went from working at California Pizza Kitchen to being on a TV show. And it's very exciting. It's very exciting.
and really successful TV shows. I mean, that's the difference is Skins wasn't very successful. But all
Freaks
those shows
and Geeks wasn't either.
Right.
That's right.
Freaks
right
and
at
Geeks
the
wasn't
time.
successful
Right.
till way later. So like,
right.
So in some respects, we were like, we hung out and we were like, felt like the underdogs, which bonded us too, which I feel like
Right.
maybe you guys had.
So much better. Oh yeah. We were like, fuck this. Everyone thinks the American version's going to suck. Spoiler alert. They were right. But we didn't think that. And we were so stoked. It was like, we were all huge fans of the original series. And so it was like, and the show is about outcasts. The show is about the sort of weird kids, whatever. And so, anyway, yeah, we were super excited. And it was the first time I experienced that feeling of being in the bubble away from home, which is now that I'm older is much less appealing, but at the time was just the greatest gift ever.
Totally.
Wait, can I ask you guys a question just from the perspective of like a fan of these shows? Were you guys having so much fun because no one was trying to like corral you or counsel you? Or did you have like a beleaguered adult who was like, guys, you can't hook up with each other, but you did anyway?
We didn't have that on Skins because Brian Elsley, who created the show in the UK, created our show as well. And he really, his whole thing was like, I want these to be actual young people. When he brought it to the States, he was like, I know what you guys do with shows where it's like the 30-year-old playing 15-year-old thing. I don't want that.
Right.
I want this to all feel like an actual weird party with these weird kids. So I think he was sort of, happy that we created that environment for ourselves, which sounds sort of fucked up in hindsight. But yeah, he was not like, this is a horrible idea. He was, yeah, you're all, teenagers and this is about a group of crazy teenagers. So,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, did you have anyone trying to police you?
No, not at all. But like, I mean, my situation was a little different because we were like hanging out and partying, but like, we weren't all like fucking each other. It was mostly dudes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I was like, I had a boyfriend on
a different show.
On a different show who was always like hanging out too. It wasn't like that. Like ours was way more like party vibes.
Yeah.
And Linda Cardellini, who was the one that like definitely had the most experience in the industry.
Yeah.
She and Jason Segel ended up dating while we were doing the show, but she like kept it very secret. And
wow.
She's very professional.
Yeah, like they both, it was like, I think it was per her, request that they keep the relationship completely offset. And
can you imagine having that kind of restraint and professionalism as a young person?
No, it was, I mean, it's crazy. I wouldn't know.
It's crazy.
But like, yeah, it's totally nuts. But we just had like, no, and like Judd Apatow and like Jake Kasdan felt a lot older than us at the time, but now I'm like, they're actually just like my contemporaries. Like I'm friends with them in real life. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it was, and Judd wasn't ever, the only thing that they ever said to us, it was just to me and Linda. And it was like, to not diet. They were like, really? Tried to have like a nice conversation about like, don't let anything affect your image of yourself.
That's
your
amazing.
Self-image. It was like, yeah, it was nice, especially given the time contextually speaking.
Yeah, I mean, it's really unusual.
And then when I went to like Dawson's Creek and was basically told every single day to lose weight. So, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Were you?
Yeah, kind of. Like I was like
by
definitely,
producers or who?
Oh God. I mean, it's so weird, Sophia. Like you started in what year?
2010.
2010? Okay. So like, yeah. I mean, I started in 1997. 1998 was, my first job. And it like those conversations were always like really weird because they would come through your manager or your agent. And sometimes they would be like very thinly veiled, like requests. And then like straight up once I got a job and they were like, wanted me to lose 20 pounds. And I was like a size
I remember, it's sickening. I mean, I remember.
And on Dawson's Creek, it was just like pressure from the wardrobe department, like every time. And so whether or not it was coming from producers, which is entirely possible because, or the network or whatever, because she had to submit photos of wardrobe, right for approval. Yeah. So I don't know. It was a vibe.
There was a really weird conversation I had. There's a couple weird conversations I had about my skin on a show I did in my early 20s because I had really bad acne in my early 20s. I still have skin issues, but it was really bad then. And it was the same sort of thing where it would start with like a makeup person or a man or whatever, and then suddenly it becomes, okay, but where is this actually coming from? And who's going to have the balls to have this conversation with me about what an issue it is that I have acne as like a 23-year-old woman, you know? And so that was a really weird thing. And then I had even at the time, thank God, I thought it was hilarious, but a really weird conversation on this movie I did in my early 20s about my boob size. And it wasn't like explicitly asked if I would get a boob job, but it was like certainly encouraged.
Wow.
Like, absolutely fucking not.
Oh my God. For a movie? Sir.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.
No, that's fucking nuts. I mean,
Goodbye.
It is weird. I also think, I'm just thinking about the acne conversation, like, because I had really good skin on Freaks and Geeks. I ended up getting sort of like...
I remember Busy. I remember watching it and being like, what the fuck?
But I ended up getting like I had a weird cystic acne thing when I was on Dawson's Creek, but I think that had to do with like sensitivities that I wasn't aware of at the time. But I remember they did send some of the younger cast members on Freaks and Geeks to a dermatologist and to like, they did do a whole thing. But I just think it's interesting because as the parent of an almost 15-year-old, Birdie's obsessed and loves that when actors in teen shows have acne. Like Birdie's favorite show is that Young Royals show.
Yes.
And Ed Van Riding, who's incredible, like occasionally has like a breakout on his face and they don't cover it up. And it's awesome. And I just feel like, whoever was making it an issue about your skin is not aware. Like the kids are cool. Like the kids like it.
The kids are into it.
The kids are into it.
It's such a relief when you have acne and you're somebody that like you wake up and you think about it, especially at that age, to see other people. You're like, I think that person is so hot or so beautiful, and they have skin that looks like. I mean, it just really gets you out of your own head for a second. It's such a relief
because it's also like so lame. Like it is what it is. It's like it is
what it is. Yeah.
There's nothing you can really do to control it when you're a teenager that much. I mean, you can like, you wash your face, you use some products, but like,
right.
Yeah, you go to a dermatologist if you want to, and you work with a doctor or whatever, but the sort of industry response of like, you must be doing a million things wrong.
Right.
I know, it's so, it's so weird.
Or that they're like approaching you to have a conversation as if you hadn't seen your own skin in the mirror.
Right, as if I had absolutely no idea.
Oh my God. Yeah. I used to be friendly with this girl in New York who was a model, and she was also really young, and she also had acne problems, and she was forever going to get like something shot into her face to try to, and I just always wanted to tell her, like, it's nothing that you're doing. And also, I don't think there's anything to be done. Like, I think someone will always give you injections in your face to try to make some pimple go away, but it never seems to work. And you're probably, I just always felt so bad for her because everybody in her life was just supportive of like, yeah, go get your face shot full of stuff and we'll all hope for the best.
And also the more you do, usually with that stuff, the more you do, the worse it gets. And then you're just thinking about it all the time. It's such a mental obsession,
Yeah. Once somebody tells you that something's a problem.
Yeah.
then it's literally like the telltale heart, it's just under the floor.
All you can hear.
Making noise every day. That's all you can hear.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but still, it is because people ask me sometimes if I think like things have gotten better for young women in this industry. And it's interesting to talk to you about this kind of stuff just because you did start fairly young and impressionable and like, you know what I mean? Like at this point, when people ask me about the state of the industry, I'm like, no one's going to fucking try anything with me now. Come on. Like what are you out of your mind? But I do wonder about like your generation and starting out at like 19 or 17, 18.
You know, what's interesting is because I obviously, I work with Allie Sheedy on the show, and I've talked to her about her stories, and there is no question things are better. It's better, but of course there's a lot of gray area within that, and my experience at least has been it's still pretty. It's certainly better, especially for people that come with the threat of writing a New York Times think piece. And when you're 7 or 8 on a call sheet, it's a little trickier. And I've experienced it myself, and I've seen it with other women. It's like I was on a show and I was really far down, and some weird shit went down with intimacy shit. And this is post Me Too and post all of this, everything's fine. And it's like, well, yeah, because who am I? And what threat do I pose to these people that are maybe, are very careful around their 1, 2, and 3, or very careful around the women that they know are talking in other circles with people that they're going to work with in the future and all that stuff. But I do think that the sort of like instinct to take advantage of people, it hasn't gone away for a lot of men in this business, so if they can get away with it with other people, I think that they will.
Right.
Well, it's wild that we're still hearing like some men weirdly trying to blame it on us for being too sensitive. And so like, I'm still hearing like, I don't even know what I can say. I don't even know, like, am I going to, if I say hi to someone and, and it's just like, you got to do your own research, like do your own homework on this. And like, yeah, until you figure out what you can say, just don't say anything. Just keep it to like work stuff.
It's something I really have a hard time relating to because I've never gone through my day and been like, oh boy, what can't I say today?
Right.
It's just not something I've ever struggled with. I have a lot of anxiety, a lot of social anxiety. There's a lot of shit I worry about on a daily basis. Never is it, what can't I say today?
Right.
It's like, what the fuck?
I think it's kind of off topic, but it kind of applies. My friend Abby Crutchfield, I think, said this the other day. She tweeted like, if it's so benign and so well-intended, why don't men go around asking each other to smile?
Right.
And I'm like, I've never heard a guy be like, hey, why don't you smile? It can't be that bad to another guy. And it's kind of like the same thing. Like you could easily apply that rubric. Is that the right word? Where you could just be like, oh, if I wouldn't say it to like a guy colleague, I shouldn't say it to a woman colleague. If I wouldn't rub a guy colleague's shoulders, I shouldn't do it, but
right.
Full disclosure, guys, on my last week of Girls 5 Evo, when I was like so sore and we were doing like our performances, I was like, damn, I wish some buddy could just massage my shoulders.
Yeah, but you were wanting it,
damn.
and you would have consented to it in like a, not that it's like the most. When I worked at the Rosie O'Donnell show,
so creepy. It is so creepy.
Sent in one of those massage chairs, which was like a fairly novel thing at the time, and everyone was constantly giving each other shoulder rubs until our executive producer was like, "It's just nothing has gone wrong, but it's gonna go wrong, and
But
so
it's
we
gonna,
have
and
to."
I'm scared. Yeah.
We have to take this chair away. I'm sorry, everyone. And we were like, oh, okay.
I will say the thing that I'm guilty of, and I'm constantly sort of going around to like my female friends on set where I'm just like, do I hug you too much? Because I'm like with my girlfriends, I'm such a like, I want to hold everyone's hand all the time. And I'm constantly, so I'm just like, oh, wait, you know what? I actually might be in everyone's physical space way too much. And I'm so sorry. It's how I express like love to my female friends. And I need to chill the fuck out because it's not okay. But also like, if someone says that's making, actually you do try to hold my hand too much, or like, we don't need to hug all the time. I would be like, totally, I'm mortified. I'm so sorry. And I'm going to never, ever do it again. I would never be like, you're so sensitive.
Right.
Yeah, like, come on.
What's your problem?
It's just how I show that we're friends.
Yeah.
No, you'd be like, oh my God, I'm mortified. Yikes.
Yeah.
I apologize.
I'm so, like, my initial instinct for almost anything in the world is to be mortified. So that's the other, I just can't understand not being I'm so embarrassed when someone says you're making me uncomfortable.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, I bet people would say something if you were making them, because I feel like
I've not noticed it.
Okay, thanks, Busy.
But here's a tip, though. Here's a tip. I can bring this from, I won't say which one of my sons, but sometimes one of my sons, I do like probably grab onto him too much. And he's like, both of my sons aren't the most touchy-feely guys. They are affectionate, but like on their own terms. But one of my sons, whenever I try to like hold his arm or whatever, and it's too much and it's not the moment he wants, he always takes my hand, kisses it, and then drops it back down at my side.
That's a very gentle and sweet way to be like, not right now, Mom.
That's very
please.
sweet.
Yeah,
Just let me
he's
alone.
like, let me give you like a little blast of affection and then get your hand somewhere else, you know?
I think that's great.
Very sweet.
That's a tip. If you have that relationship with someone, sometimes the kiss and shove is a good one.
Does your husband like physical affection?
Yes.
Is he okay with it? Okay, that's great.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because sometimes men, I don't know. Sometimes maybe I'm generalizing, but I would say that some men are not into physical.
The good thing about
showings.
Henry and I is we're both, I would say, more like physical affirmation than verbal almost. So if like one of us is having a bad day or something, or we're frustrated, it's more of like a okay, we just grab each other's hand, or you know, and that sort of says more than a conversation.
That's what I need, you guys. That's what I need for whoever I end up dating. I need somebody, because I'm a physical affirmation person as well.
Mm-hmm.
All the love languages we've established, I want them all. But I really do.
You need a multi-love lingual partner.
I do, but I really do need physical touch as reassurance. Like that's like one of the biggest ones for me. And
I do it to myself. When I'm having a hard time falling asleep, I realize that my one foot is like massaging my other foot. I'm like constantly doing weird shit. I
had a friend who used to always just like hold her boob.
I totally get that.
Under her
I
bra,
don't
like
do that,
this.
but I completely understand it.
Yeah, she would kind of like if she was feeling, you could see, I'm like showing these girls, but she would just kind of like put her hand, not like fully on her boob, but like above her boob,
like
and just like
armpit.
kind of rub her armpit a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was always like, it was always like kind of a good sign as a friend to be like, oh, she's needing something that she's not getting right now. Okay, what's going on, babe?
Well, those are probably like, I know for neurodivergent people, those are like, some of those things are stimulations that people call them, or sometimes like a comfort thing, like people that always rest their hands under their throat. I always think that they're like pressing on their vagus nerve and trying to calm themselves down.
Oh, right. My energy healer, Val, was telling me to do this, to tap there.
Well, I think, Busy, I've had a theory that I've never shared with you, but I think that's why you like to wear so many necklaces, because it's like a weight on your vagus nerve, and it's calming for you.
Maybe, perhaps.
Maybe, I don't know. But I think
I have a lot on right now.
I think that's so great that you guys have that understanding that, like, just hold my hand, and like, not necessarily a pep talk or whatever.
Oh God, sometimes I hate the last thing I want sometimes is a pep talk, you know?
Because you're like, what do you know?
And I'm just like, I just don't want to talk about it.
Right.
I'm tired.
Right.
And also sometimes you don't want solutions to be offered. You just want comfort.
That's right.
And like,
that's right.
And the biggest issue, even I have this with friends and partners, is that it's hard when you're using words not to offer advice. It's just fucking hard.
That's a really good point.
But like physically you can just offer comfort without also saying like, and I think I have an idea of how we can make this better. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you just want to like, it's not going to be better. It's not better yet.
Yeah.
Give me a beat to feel it.
And I'm sure you have so many great ideas. And I'm so grateful. And I don't want to make you feel bad for not being receptive to your ideas. But in this moment, I actually just want to watch basketball and hold your hand and not talk for 2 hours.
I love that. That's really great
You
that
know?
you and your husband have that. I love that for you guys.
Thank you so much.
And just to everyone, I read recently that, I don't know if this is true, that we need like 8 hugs a day.
Oh, I posted it.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, 8 to 12.
8 to 12
8
hugs.
is like the bottom.
Wow, that's a lot.
8 glasses of water, 8 hugs minimum.
And the hugs, wait, but like children, you have to hug children because it helps with growth.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Physical
Interesting.
touch helps with growth. But we also know that, right? Like that's like a thing that has been studied. That's why like those babies that are left alone in
Right.
orphanages.
Right.
Like,
right.
you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I always think a lot of things that work for plants work for people too. And I think that when you have physical
Water,
contact with
food.
yeah, you know,
Sun.
Singing.
sun, singing, and also like moving plants around sometimes makes them stronger. And that requires
I move my
like,
plants around all the time, Caissie. My plants are thriving up in here. Lumi. Oh, I love that.
I love Lumi so
We love it.
I love it so much. I use the coconut deodorant.
I love it.
And every time Matt is like, "Oh my God, you smell so good. What is that?" And I'm like, "It's the same thing that it always is when you always ask. It's my coconut Lumi deodorant. It smells so good."
It smells so good. It's delicious. I like the all over body deodorant.
Yes, I like that too. Well, because you're a sweater.
I am a sweater. I'm a sweater, guys. Everybody knows it. And sometimes I got to put a little Lumi all over deodorant in my cleavage. It's just the fact.
Yeah.
When I'm doing my workouts, I need a little sweat, boob sweat Lumi to just help control just stuff. Lumi is the way to go, especially because it was created by an OBGYN who discovered and proved in clinical testing that the vagina is not to blame for day-to-day odor below the belt. So she developed
Thank you, doctor.
Lumi, a uniquely formulated pH-balanced deodorant, which is aluminum-free, skin-safe, clinically proven to control odor for up to 72 hours.
You can use it anywhere, by the way, on your body, the whole body deodorant. I've been using it a lot on my feet because it's like no socks weather, but like it gets smelly when you walk around in the hot weather with sneakers and no socks on. So that's taking care of that, but you can use it anywhere. Under boobs, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, vulvas, and your feet. So anywhere where you feel like you could use it, you can use it.
I mean, here's what I'm going to say too. The starter pack is perfect. That's what I got. And I was able to try out the mini body wash, deodorant wipes, the solid stick deodorant, which also is like a really good purse size, in the starter pack. And then the cream tube deodorant.
Yes.
And our special offer for you guys, new customers, you get $5 off a Lumi starter pack with the code BEST at lumideodorant.com. That's basically over 40% off your starter pack when you visit lumideodorant.com and use the code BEST. Athletic Greens. Athletic Greens. Anyway.
Our next partner has a product that we use literally every day.
Athletic
We both
Greens. I love it. I just love it.
You love Athletic
know.
Greens. I love it too. We both started using it just because we were like both on some pretty intense like vitamin and mineral regimens that had us taking 1 million pills and supplements every day. And it was like a whole part-time job.
I mean, I remember when the herbalist guy that I was seeing told me that it's not a big deal and I should just try to take the pills all throughout the entire day. And I was like, sir, these are 27 supplements. It's more supplements than ours.
And then when we figured out that Athletic Greens had everything that we were after, and it's all just like one scoop that you put in a glass of water, or like I put in a smoothie sometimes, it's like a life changer.
Yeah. It's 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, adaptogens. I mean, it is a small micro habit with very big benefits, guys. The founder of Athletic Greens experienced a lot of gut health issues. And so that's why he created Athletic Greens. And I have to say, it also helps with my bloating. I always feel like when my tummy is having an issue.
I love it. And it tastes great and it's easy and delicious.
And it's recommended by professional athletes, over 7,000 5-star reviews, trusted by leading health experts such as Tim Ferriss and Michael Jervis.
We're not trusted health experts, but
Yes,
we're telling you.
We are telling you. And right now it's
Trust
time
us.
to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially because it is always cold and flu season, guys. I'm just going to say it. It's one scoop
Always.
in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/busy. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/busy to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Well, okay, wait, Sophia, I have so many questions. Okay, first of all, let's talk about Single Drunk Female Seas 2 a little bit.
Sure.
Because I feel like lots of people are talking about it. I feel like a lot of people have found it this season. Do you feel that too? Or is it just because I'm on it?
No, I feel like more people have found it this year, which makes me really happy. I guess, Hulu is maybe doing a different job in the way that they're sharing it. I think also there's more awareness about what the show it is this year. Like, I think the title is very confusing and deceiving. And so I think some people were like, well, I don't really want to watch a show about a drunk person.
A messy girl.
Another messy drunk person. And then there's more awareness about the show that actually is about recovery and addiction and sobriety more than that. And so I think more people seem to be interested in that, which I get. and
female friendship and mother-daughter bonds and like the complexities as you age and like with your parent and like how you want them to, value your own autonomy as you become an adult and like how they're able to deal with it. Cause I think that I love watching the show, and part of it is because I really do love how the relationship between you and your mom, played by Ali Sheedy, aforementioned
hero,
genius, how it's portrayed and like how it, and especially this season, I think there's like some really intense stuff.
It's the thing I like most about the show too, because it's a really interesting point in a mother-daughter relationship too to explore, where she's not, this grumpy high school kid. She's not totally on her own family, all of that. It's that in between where she's sort of finding out how to be an adult and how to be herself. And then also for Carol, it's a really interesting time in her life. And that character is not just put in this stereotypical box of like mom of a certain age, but post death of her husband, but wanting to date and then not wanting to, and it just feels very real to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I really like that dynamic a lot.
And it's just like, I don't know. I like the tone of the show. I was so thrilled to come do some episodes at the end of last season, the second season, because I tonally like just relate more to this show than many other shows that are on television. It's just like, I love watching The Last of Us, guys, but I'm like, come on, you know what I mean? And I have a hard time with like super broad, over the top comedies. I don't really watch sitcoms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like this tone feels like this is what like it's like a nice reflection. Yeah, it feels like life, but also it's like entertaining and fucking funny. And you guys are all so good and adorable together.
Thanks, Lizzie.
Such good chemistry.
You're perfect for that tone because it is funny and you have to have like, you know, comedic sensibility and understand that world. But you also have to be vulnerable and open. And not everybody wants to do both of those things, you know?
Right.
So, which I get, by the way, and I respect and totally understand. But some people are like, I want to do the sort of bigger, maybe not bigger, because we are broad sometimes, but straight comedy. And, you know, this is the world we live in. And we're never going to do, you know, this kind of scene or that kind of moment. So yeah, you came in and you were just like, no, I do all this stuff. I do it really well too. So you're welcome.
You're welcome, guys. You're welcome. No, I mean, it was just, I had such a delightful time working with you. And I was also just super impressed by your thoughtfulness and your like engagement and wanting to make it the best it can be. Because to be honest with you, I've worked a ton and with a lot of different people, and like a lot of people who are number one on the call sheet are just like, fuck it, whatever, fine. And you seemed to me to be just very intent on like, yeah, you have a fun time, you have a good time when you're working and the crew loves you and you're wonderful to be around, but you also were just like very serious about like, wait, hold on, let's make sure that this works exactly the way it's supposed to service this thing, because I know da-da-da-da-da. You were keeping track of so many things, and I just want you to know it's not every actor that is like that, Sophia.
That's very nice of you to say. Thank you, Busy.
Do you write as well?
I don't really. I mean, I do sometimes for fun and the very, very, very private manner, but I don't write. Like if I write
my journal.
A screenplay or something, I don't really share it with anybody. You know, it's like, I have this idea, I'm going to see if this works. But it's never been something that really appeals to me, but I do find myself being drawn to more producerial stuff. And I think in that sense, like what you're describing, I wouldn't want to be on the ground floor of writing an episode of the show. But I love coming in. Basically, I'm saying I like to be the really annoying person that has notes later.
But you'd be so great because you'd be so thoughtful about it.
Yeah. Wait, are you a producer on the show?
I'm not, no.
Oh, they should make you a producer on the show next season. Season 3.
Woo!
Well, they should, just because you do remind me of like Adam Scott or somebody like that any number of people that I've worked with who actually are really interested and thoughtful. And I get what you're saying. It is a whole process to be in a writer's room and to break stories. And like, if that's not where your heart is, it's not where your heart is. But if you are invested in a project and you want to make it the very best version it can be, you're incredibly smart with story and also dialogue and stuff too. I watched you do lots of stuff on the fly when we were working together. That was, which I love because I'm like that. Would you ever direct?
I think I would probably do that sooner than I would write something myself. Yeah.
I think you should direct.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would, but I also just really love what we do. I don't know. I really love being on our side of things and feeling like, especially with a cast like this one where we all actually, really like each other and have fun and can do shit on the fly and whatever. To me, that's I like being on the team. I don't want to be the coach,
That makes sense. I like hearing it like that. Yeah. Somebody was asking me at my wrap party for Girls 5 Eva if I wanted to direct an episode of Girls 5 Eva. And I was a little bit like, well, yeah, sure, because I always want to do everything. But also maybe not, because I like that it's like the four of us in the mix together all the time. And it would change the dynamic a little bit. And I don't know if I want to do that,
Yeah. Yeah. When it's working and you have this sort of bond with people and you guys have your vibe, it is a little bit scary to be like, well, do I want to fuck with that?
I know,
Right.
like, but the thing that's so annoying is like no man has ever asked that question.
I know.
They've all just been like, and I'm going to direct an episode next season. What are you doing this summer? Do you have plans? Are you working? I mean, there's the strike, but I mean, the writer's strike, but.
Yeah.
I just got back from a job a few weeks ago, so I'm going to hang out here for a minute, and hopefully go on a river trip. We're trying to figure out which river we're going to go down this summer.
Wait, have you done that before?
Done that?
Yes, we really like rivers. We really like doing these. It's sort of a wilderness trip, but not as much as you can get at this point. But yeah, so we might be doing that next month. But other than that, I think I'm pretty much going to be sticking around for a minute.
That's great.
Yeah,
I bet Henry's excited to have you.
yeah, especially because with the strike, it's the first time that he is sort of feeling what it's like for me when I'm not shooting something. He's like, should I become a dog walker? Should I? I was like, no, you just do other stuff. You don't actually need to like completely rethink your life and do a different job.
Right. Right.
There is some sick part of me that's enjoying watching somebody else go through this experience.
I mean, well, we should say Henry is a director. Does he write as well?
Yes, he's a writer. Yeah,
and
he writes as well. And yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
he's certainly not alone. I mean, all of my writer friends are like, what is my plan B? Yeah, so everybody's like, do I go to cosmetology school?
I don't know. I think a river trip sounds so fun.
That's the right
What
thing
river
to
have
do.
you been on before?
We did we went through Cataract Canyon last summer.
Where's
which
that?
was really spectacular. It starts in Utah.
Okay.
And then we did the North Fork of the Salmon River, which it might be the one that we do again this summer, because you have to enter a lottery to go, if you're doing it privately, or you can, you can go with these companies, but we have like sort of ex-river rat guide friends that take us down if we win the lottery to go down. So we won the lottery for the salmon again this year. So we might do that.
Oh, that's so cool.
Wow.
But it's just so beautiful. And, yeah. And you really completely disconnected and have absolutely no idea what's going on in the real world, which I think is, sounds more fun to me than becoming a dog walker,
I want to go on a river trip.
I was going to say, wait, can you
come, Busy.
Can you explain? Is it like, because I've never done anything like this. Is it like, are you in a boat? Are you in a rubber raft? Are both?
Yeah, raft, 4 to 5 people and guide per raft.
Okay.
The way that we do it, because it's not with a company, is everyone, which I really love, everyone's really involved. So we all sort of, they won't, but if any of the river rat guides listen to this, they'd be like, yeah, you're really involved. Because they do a lot of work. But, we load and unload the rafts every morning and night, and everyone's tents and all the gear and all the food. Because you're whatever you're eating for those. So the last day is really fun because everything's really light. But the first few days, it's a lot of
Schlepping.
heavy lifting, a lot of schlepping. And then we also have inflatable kayaks and duckies and stuff. So on days where the rapids aren't as intense, people can hop on those, and it's really choose your own adventure, and you go on hikes, and
That sounds so fun.
it's so fun. You should absolutely come. I've never seen someone do it and not fall in love with it. Everyone that's come on a trip has gone on the next one.
Oh, wow.
It's interesting. I was looking last year at at companies that do like river trips in the Grand Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I was like trying to think of something to do with my kids that, I don't know. I just felt like that'd be
so cool. We haven't done the Grand Canyon yet. You can't do the Grand Canyon privately. It has to be with a company. It's also a much longer trip. I think the shortest version is 17 days.
It's long.
Oh my
It's long.
gosh.
So we haven't totally figured out that one yet, but that's on our bucket list. If we wanted to put a group together and do the canyon, I'm just saying, what an amazing first river for you to do, Busy.
Oh my God. Well, I love the Grand Canyon. It's my favorite of all the canyons I've been to.
Canyons.
Actually, I don't know. All canyons are kind of amazing. I got to be honest.
They're pretty cool.
Every canyon I've been to,
pretty
I'm
cool.
a fan of so far. So,
Yeah.
well, I'm very into this river. Would you ever do a movie like about river rafting?
Oh, would love to.
Oh my God, that's
would
the
love
vibe.
to.
Like, you need to do a movie that Henry like writes and directs, and you guys shoot it. I'm in. Let's
There's
do it.
a really cool story, actually, Busy, that we should try to see what's up with the rights to. But of this group of women that did the first group of women to do the canyon by themselves, and I think. I don't want to get this wrong, but I think that because there is an all-female Grand Canyon company, river rafting company, that I think started with this group, and they're basically the coolest people ever. And like the kind of boat that they used at that time was obviously so much more dangerous, and they were fearless and went through all of these insane rapids. Anyway, we should look into it because it's an amazing story.
Love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Guys, another movie.
Here
pitched. Wait, no, writer strike. But whatever.
We're thinking about
We're
it.
thinking.
We're dreaming
We're
about
thinking.
it.
You're allowed to think. We're allowed to think.
Caissie?
No, I was just going to say, we always talk about pivots on the podcast, and you already told us, Sophia, that you pivoted from wanting to be a professional basketball player to an actor. But have you ever had like another pivot in your career, or are you looking forward to a pivot in your career?
That's a good question. The pivot, I think, was which I think just had to sort of run its own natural course. But there was a pivot where I'd stopped worrying about making money and, paying for rent and, oh my God, I just need to work. I need to work because I need to make a career out of this. Otherwise, what am I going to do? And I have bills to pay and whatever. Okay, I'm actually okay for a minute. Now, should I just try to do things I actually like? And projects that actually excite me. And that was the pivot, which was not that long ago.
Yeah.
But I couldn't have anticipated when that would finally kick in and happen for me,
Right. It is weird. I mean, I guess there's sort of, oh my God, just this amazing gust of, how beautiful it is in New York right now, Sophia?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Incredible. And like all of the little trees that blossomed are like losing their little beautiful petals. And I'm up high here. I'm on the 11th floor, but this like gust of beautiful little like sparkly leaves just went by. You can never get it on your camera, by the way. It just doesn't really translate. Right. But what I was about to say when I saw that, which felt like a sign, is that I think it's like there's reality to the world, right? Like we live in this world that asks of us certain things. Like we have to provide certain things because it's like a capitalist society. However, like how you live and like whether you live outside of the what you actually need is sort of like up for grabs. Like most people live outside of what it is that they actually need. And 100%. I remember having a conversation with Mark at one point about jobs and careers and stuff, which was like, but if everything like went away, what is it that we actually need to spend money on? And can we like allow ourselves like the freedom to make choices based on that as opposed to this other idea of things that we have to have,
Totally.
And I think it does free you up, especially if you're like trying any sort of creative pursuit when you don't feel that like claw of like, I have to get this job. I have to work, you know?
And the pressure
that pressure is really hard.
it's really hard. And you kind of don't know that you're doing it to yourself. At least I didn't until I felt the freedom of not doing it. And I felt so much pressure too of, I didn't go to college. I decided to do this crazy thing. My family's been so supportive of that. Oh my God, I can't, like, how embarrassing and horrible it would be for everybody. I mean, and no one gave a shit, but I had made up this whole narrative that if suddenly, I had to move back home with my parents or something, or I couldn't afford to, be a 20-something-year-old person living on my own, that I had failed. And this crazy idea that I had to become a professional actor was going to, this ridiculous narrative. No one gave a shit. My parents are truly amazing and really have only ever cared that I'm happy and okay and healthy. And so I had made this whole thing up. And then the second that balloon popped and I was like, wait, I'm fine. I've been working my ass off for a while. And I'm actually not that happy because I'm working on things that I don't care about, that don't care about me. That aren't collaborative, that aren't inspiring.
That are asking me to get a fucking boob job.
That are asking me to get a boob job, that are asking me to, be sexy in this scene, give this kid a blowjob in this scene, on a show that's about race. It has nothing to do with intimacy, and then I'm going home and wondering why I feel like shit. Okay, well, maybe I should hit pause and think about what I actually want to be doing. And maybe that means I work less. Maybe, I sort of limit the things that I'm really putting myself out there for, and therefore that becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, the window of opportunity. Fine, I'll work less on, and then I'll work on things that actually make me happy. Or at least that I feel like I have something to contribute to. Mm-hmm. And the second I decided to do that, it was just like, life was so much better in every single possible way.
I love that.
I'm so glad you got there, because I just feel like that's a really, like, I'm much, 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 much older than you. And I feel like I'm just coming around to that kind of idea. Like, I'm 50 years old. I don't have to do that. You know what I mean? Nobody can make me do this thing that I don't want to do. And it took me so long to get there. But when you were saying, oh, I might have to like go back home and live with my parents or whatever, I always consider success like ephemeral and temporary. And then in the same breath, consider failure permanent. And it doesn't make any sense. Like, either they're both. Oh my
God, that is so interesting, Caissie. And you do that. You do that.
I do that.
You do that.
Either they're both temporary or they're both nothing.
Or they're both permanent.
Yeah, exactly. And we know the permanency thing isn't true. So yeah, you might have a setback, but like, it's no setback is forever. And like, yeah, what's the worst? Right. I find myself asking now, what's the worst case scenario? Like,
worst
what happens?
case, that is the best tool. Walk it through all the way. Okay, and then what? And then what happens? And then what happens?
Right.
I mean, that's exposure therapy, like because I have OCD, and whenever you decide that, and it's very similar in the sense that the anything positive is temporary, but anything negative, it must be permanent forever. Yes. And also I can see the future, and I know that the really bad thing is going to happen, and it's going to be forever.
Yes.
And so the exposure therapy solution to that is, okay, you're right. It's probably going to happen. And then what? Okay, that's probably, you're right. That's probably the next thing that's going to happen. And then what happens after that? And ultimately you always come around to, well, I guess I'll be fine.
Yeah. I guess everything's going to be okay.
I guess it's exactly the same as it is right now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad.
But it is a hard lesson to learn. And you have to remind, I still, it's not like you learn it and then it never is an issue again. It's something you have to remind yourself of. The other thing for me was like deciding that I was worth that pivot. Like I am not just this person, and right. I do have more to offer. And I really like storytelling, and I really like being a storyteller. And I believe that I have more to offer to your story than this thing. And then saying that and then actually following it up with action, which is like, no, thank you.
Right.
That's a really
Because
big
it still
deal.
gets scary to say no.
It's so scary.
Yeah.
And when you
But I
grow
do
up
have to
with
say
not a lot of money and someone saying, here's money.
Yes.
And you're like, no, it's a very hard thing to say no to.
Wait, by the way, I was going to say, like, just without fail, every time I've like gone back on my own, like, first instinct of saying no to a thing, always regret it. Always regret it. It's always way more. Even when people are like, it's going to be the easiest. It'll be so quick. It always ends up a fucking nightmare. And I'm like, next time I'm going to remember. And I swear to God, next time I'm going to remember.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Starting now.
I always tell my husband when I'm in the middle of something like that, next time I start doing something that looks like this thing that I'm doing right now, remind me that I said, I don't ever want to do something like this again. And then he always is like, you told me to remind you. And I'm like, no, I have to do it.
It's different. This thing is different. You don't get it.
You don't get it. It's not.
And then it's exactly the same, but worse.
Well, I just adore you. I hope that Single Drunk Female does get to come back for a third season so that you and I get to work together more.
Oh my gosh, me too. Busy. You're
But
just
also,
the best.
You are the best. But also, I have written it down, Grand Canyon river rafting.
Yeah.
So we're in. We're in.
Let's do it.
I know. It was so good to talk to you. We'll let you go.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for hanging out
me.
with us.
Yeah.
Thank you. So good to see you, Busy.
So good to see you too. I'll
Nice to
see
meet
you soon,
you.
hopefully.
So nice to meet you. Thank you so much for this.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Honey love, honey love. Listen, support for today's episode, no pun intended, comes from Honey Love. The reviews are in. Honey Love came out on top for the best wedding day shapewear.
Congrats.
Congrats, Honey Love. Honey Love has revolutionized compression technology. You no longer have to feel like you're suffocating while wearing effective and cute shapewear.
It's very comfortable.
Because sometimes, like, you're just like, you know what? I'd like to just have like a smoother line in this dress.
Yeah, without feeling like you're going through some type of corporal punishment.
Correct. Honey Love, their best-selling thing is the Super Power Short, and it has targeted compression. So it distinguishes between areas where you would want more support and areas where you need less compression. That's it, guys. You don't want to feel like you're like encased.
Squeezed everywhere.
You want to feel like you're squeezed a bit.
Because there's nothing worse than you put on shapewear to get a smoother line, and then because it's too tight everywhere, it causes bumps where you didn't even have them before.
Exactly.
Like, no thanks. No thanks. So Honey Love has like the signature X that targets areas where you just want to feel like snatched in, cinched in a little bit. Sculpts your midsection without squeezing everything else.
There's a booty lift situation.
Yeah. Who doesn't need that?
And listen, it doesn't stop there. They've got more than just sculpt wear. They have really comfortable bras and tank tops and leggings. It's just as easy to put on as it is to take off, which is great because I don't ever like that thing where you like are struggling to get a piece of shapewear off. That's like
no, and you're like you get
Please
so
don't.
sweaty that your makeup and hair gets messed up.
It's messed up. No, we're not doing it again, guys. We don't need to. We don't need to. We love it. I love it. Caissie loves it. Treat yourself to the best shapewear on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com with the code BEST20. Use code BEST20 at honeylove.com. Try it out, guys. You're going to love it. Well, you know we love Thrive Cosmetics.
Sure do.
You know that I've been talking about that mascara. I've turned on so many people to it, including like a bunch of makeup artists. I know Thrive advertises on this podcast, but they should be paying me, like, because I'm spreading the word. It's the Liquid Lash Extensions mascara, guys. I'm obsessed with it. I use it when you watch Girls Five Eva. Just know that's the mascara I'm wearing. I'm obsessed.
Oh, that's a hot tip. I also love the Brilliant Eye Brightener, which I use, on my eyes, but other places too. And the Hydrating Lip Tint is so good because it's nice to have a little color, but some moisture on your lips. So many things that I put on my lips are so drying. And this is like the perfect thing.
I like it because it's very balmy and it's not sticky. And it just is like it's in the name of the thing. It's a hydrating lip tint. Anyway, all of these products, I mean, truly have convinced so many people to buy this mascara. I mean, if you look at a picture of me online in the last 6 months, it's been about 6 months, I am wearing this Liquid Lash Extensions mascara. It's incredible.
You have it on right now.
I have it on right now.
It looks so good. It looks so good.
It really looks like it extends your lashes a bit. But
yes, yeah.
It also lasts all day. It doesn't smudge. It doesn't flake.
Right.
It does not flake off. And I can literally cry hysterically. It's crazy that I've cried so much and it stays on.
And it stays on.
Yeah.
I have a problem with under my eyes is oily. So it always acts like a makeup remover
100%.
to any. And so I always have raccoon eyes 5 minutes after putting on any other mascara. So this is the only one that I can use and it doesn't smudge or smear at all.
And I know they want us to talk about all of their amazing products because their products are really incredible. And also I love that it's 100% vegan and cruelty free. I love that there's no parabens. Parabens? I like Parabians, like the Pirates of the Parabians.
Either.
I like that there's no Pirates of the Parabians. There are no sulfates. There are no phthalates. And I love that the name itself, Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSE, is because it's a part of their mission. Every purchase supports organizations that help communities thrive. And right now, I'm just going to say, guys, you got to try Thrive Cosmetics to see for yourself. You can get an exclusive 20% off your first order when you visit thrivecosmetics.com/best. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/best for 20% off your first order. Guys, I'm telling you, go get it all.
She was amazing. I love Sofia. I'm so glad you asked her to come on the podcast.
I know. I just felt really strongly about it because I had such a great time on that show with her. And if you haven't watched Single Drunk Female, go ahead. Guys, what are you waiting for? It's on Hulu or Freeform.
Yeah. It's getting great reviews.
Yeah. People really like this season. People who liked last season really like this season. But if you even just want to jump in this season, feel free. You know what I mean? If you didn't watch last season, no one's saying you have to watch the first season of a show. You'll catch up. You'll catch up. It's not,
you're a smart
you're
person.
smart. I'm smart. I can jump a season of a show. No prob.
100.
So before we went to the break, before we went to the interview, we were talking about your mom's memorial / whale watch coming up in a few weeks. And I don't even know when you're heading this direction. We should talk about that.
Yeah.
But
yes.
What kind of things are you needing help with? What's happening? What's going to happen?
I just am I opened talking in a funny way about Birdie swallowing that bird in 2 gulps, but also, and it was funny, but also it just made me realize that I am traumatized. And so the answer to your question is do I need anything? I don't know. I'm just trying to deal. So besides my work that I had to do, there's still ongoing stuff with my mom's estate. And I had to make a bunch of calls and send a bunch of attachments, email attachments, and sign a bunch of forms this past week, and I had just like a rolling panic attack when I was just trying to do those things that I do every day. And I was like, I just can't. I just can't. It was so weird. It was like I felt myself and I knew, I felt like I was going to black out. And I weirdly was took my sweatshirt off. I had a sweatshirt on. So I was like, I hope... I was laughing at myself at the same time that I was crying and having this panic attack. But I was like, I hope that I'm standing in the hallway because that's where our printer is, the main hallway of the house, and printer scanner. And I just was like, that was the only thing I could think to do to keep myself from blacking out is take my sweatshirt off and stand there in my bra in the hallway. And then I wound up sitting on the floor and trying to touch the coolness of the floor. And so I just felt like the thing with the dog eating the bird, even though it was funny and normal dog behavior, I just got so stressed out. And I was like, I just can't, I'm at my limit. I can't have another thing, which is kind of, I think, ties into what we're talking about. Just for me personally, I think that I've historically been a strong person and I absorb all of the upset and injury of people around me and try to hold them up. And, I'm always the one to make apologies for someone that's maybe not at their best, if something happens and someone's not able to do what they're supposed to be doing, I'm always the one that's let me step in and try to help with this. And also by the way, everybody, please, let's have some understanding. This is what this person's going through. And I just feel a sponge can only hold so much water. And I feel like I couldn't take on any more water. And so, sorry to cry. But, so in terms of what I need, I don't even know. I'm just trying not to think about it, really. And it's going to be poorly planned. You know what I mean? Because I'm just going to get on a plane and go there and try to do what I have to do, And it's really hard. It's really hard. And I keep reminding myself that this is something that everybody goes through. Everybody does. Everybody will go through this in their life, And so that's helpful to feel not alone. It's a sucky place to not be alone in, But I think there's just a lot of unresolved stuff. And even though everyone's been wonderful, my family has been wonderful and my friends have been wonderful, but I just kind of feel on my own, it's on me to make whatever's going to happen. Yeah. And I was I can't even scan these documents right now. It's too much. So that's just how I feel. So I don't really know if I need anything. I don't think I do, but also I need everything, that's the truth.
I know. I feel like you need to scream.
I probably do.
I feel like I do feel like you hold it in. You always have. This is part of who you are. As effusive as I am, you're the other direction.
Yeah.
And you're so wise and so kind and so giving to all of the people in your life. And that if any one of your friends, anyone, even someone you didn't know that well, maybe even probably someone you didn't like, reached out to you and was like, I don't know what I need, but I'm that you would show up, and start to do things. Which is, I guess, to say that count me in. I'll plan your mom's memorial with you. I'm ready.
I know.
No, I can do it. We can do it. I'll do it.
I know.
We've got Kirsten. She knows Massachusetts.
I just feel I honestly, and that's the hard thing, right? Is that like, it's not even just like asking for help. I'm sure you've read in like handy tips of like, when someone dies and you're offering to help, don't say like, is there anything I can do? Because the person will never take you up on it. Always say like, I'm going to bring you a casserole or whatever, which I'm like, maybe not, because maybe the person doesn't like casserole, but whatever. But what I think is the reason why people don't take anyone up on it is because like for me, I just don't even know where to begin, like with what I would need. So like, I feel like I have everything that I need because I have friends that will listen to me and like commiserate with me and are there for me. But I also feel like I need everything because I feel like I have nothing and I feel like I'm incapable of doing the smallest thing. But I will say that like, you know, within the context of this podcast, like what we're doing our best at, like this is really the first time in my life where I've been like, I don't fucking know. Like, you know what I mean? Like when people are like, do we want this or this? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. And like walked away from it and not been like, let me stand here and try to figure out the answer to that. Like, this is the first time I've just been like, I don't know the answer to that. And honestly, like I have bigger fish to fry and like, or like, I don't know the answer to that. And I'm not going to think about it right now because I don't feel like I can. You know, I don't think you can be like that all the time, but just this one time, like, I just feel like that's the best I can do. And so, yeah, I've never been a real, like, just let uncertainty happen kind of person, but like sometimes you have to be. And so this is the time where I'm like, yeah, I just don't know, you know. But it's a weird place. And it just sucks because no one's going to feel it like I feel it. And they're not supposed to, you know? And then it's just making me think of also what we were saying, like, you know, when all this time, like trying to protect my mom from this illness that she was worried was going to kill her, and then something else killed her anyway. And it's just stupid and absurd. And you can be ready for it and like never ready for it. And you can be okay and not okay at all, you know? But I never want to use my printer again.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It's just like, what about like trying to do something with the printer made me like lose my mind?
I don't know. For me, it's always because it's complicated and it tells me that I don't have the right fucking ink. And then it like prints two-sided when I'm like, you know, I can't deal with two-sided. I have ADD.
Yeah, it just was like, oh, God, like this is a simple thing. And if I had been doing it for anyone else, I probably would have been able to do it.
Of course.
Because it was like something that I had to do.
Yes.
And, you know, and I'm like, using a printer shouldn't make it that I have to like take my clothes off and lay down on the floor like I'm in a David Lynch movie, but here I am.
But it does make sense in a way. I mean, it does. It does
in
make
a way.
sense.
In a way. Yeah. In as much as I was just proud of myself that I was like, well, if my kids see me in my underwear crying in the hallway or passed out in the hallway, like, okay, that's where I am.
I mean,
you know,
in my house,
like,
that's a Tuesday, but you know.
But, you know, I did talk to them about it after I said, like, I really had a panic attack, like, when I was trying to deal with this, like, really mundane stuff.
But it's also like, you know, you can unpack what the mundane stuff is, but it's like.
Yeah. You know, it's like, it's closing all these little doors, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm doing my best at, taking my sweatshirt off in the hallway.
Taking care of yourself?
Because yeah, I mean, I just did what my body told me to do in that second, and it's like I'm still here, you know?
Yeah.
And it calmed down. But anyway, I'm so grateful to you for asking, like, do I need anything? If I think of anything concrete, I will certainly let you know.
I don't know what a whale, I know I'm going to be there, but I don't know what what kind of thing a whale watch needs?
I don't know
Is it
either.
like-
That's
is
a
it
good
like
question.
snacks?
They have a cantina on the whale watch boat, so there will be snacks.
Can we bring
and
our own
things.
snacks?
You can bring your own snacks. They said we could cater it, but I was like, I'm not going to cater it because like every time I cater something, I feel like people eat like one sandwich, and then I'm
like some meat and cheese plates from Whole Foods or whatever.
From wherever. Yeah, we definitely can do that.
I can do all these things. This is where I thrive.
Is there a playlist? Is there
a
like
playlist?
just I don't know.
Well, that's what
I'm gonna
Mark
ask
can do.
I'll ask Lincoln to make the playlist because he will know what to put on
Drinks?
it. Drinks are on the boat,
But like,
I feel
do
like
they want to? Can we bring drinks?
yeah, I think you can. I think so. And then yeah, is anyone gonna talk? And like, is it me? And will I be able to talk? We'll see.
Do you want to ask anyone to talk? Is there anyone that's coming that you would like to say a few words about your mom?
I don't really know. Yeah, it's a good, I don't want to make it like a dance battle or whatever where everyone's like, now you go.
No, you should plan. We should plan who's going to say something.
But I don't really know. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. It seems like it should be me, but I also don't know if I could.
But it also doesn't need to be you. You could also
Right.
write something and someone else could read it.
Yeah, that's true.
I am an actress. I'm kidding. I'm not suggesting it's me, but maybe Lincoln would like to, or Eli, or
Maybe.
your husband.
I have to talk to them more about it. But yeah, I've just been like going forward, but it is coming up really soon. So
It's not that. It's still enough time to do stuff.
a little time. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm on the meat and cheese plates, so. And if Emily ends up coming, we're gonna have to get some vegan cheese up on that boat.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think it'll just be nice, and I'm just, it'll be nice to see people that can come, and yeah. So anyway, I thank you. What are you doing your best at this week?
Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. I maybe I do feel like a couple times I've slowed myself down.
Yeah.
Like I've started to get like spun up about a thing, either like relationship wise, like thinking about a thing, or like going down the like rabbit hole of like what's going to happen next. And I've like managed to both times just like put the brakes on. Even once like I like distracted myself, but it like worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another time it was like a very conscious, like put the fucking brakes on, dude.
Yeah.
But both times it was successful, which feels big for me.
That is big.
And I'm like definitely in a moment where I'm not choosing to like work, obviously, in a tradish way, like how I work, acting or something. Obviously, no writing, and there are a lot of people like in my life, like that thing that Abdi said to me last week was really sweet. But the truth is, like, I would do that for everyone in my life that I love, and it's just after the insanity of the last 6 weeks is like, and really like the last few months for me, I would say, like since maybe December-ish, I've like actually like paused, and I just know that there are people, you're included in this, who like just need my action, like actually need my attention. So
yeah,
I'm trying to like reach out to people more. And just make sure that like the people I love know that I love them the most.
I think that's so good. I think especially I'm so proud of you because it's easy to stop yourself or to slow down from thinking about something that might be hard to stop thinking about when you're working and you're very distracted and busy. But when you're not working...
Well, can I tell you something? It's actually the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, because I make sort of like sometimes what happens when I start speeding up and my brain goes into like a spiral is like I make sort of like rash, like I'll say a thing, I'll send the text, I'll make a decision, like I'll think that the moment is calling for quick action when in fact, because that's a trauma response, right? Like trauma is too fast, too much, too quickly. And so when I have other things to distract me, like real distractions, like work and stuff, I'm not able to see it for what it is and say like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. No, don't send that text. Don't make that decision. No. Wait, what? Don't sign that paper. I mean, dude, in 6 weeks, I made some wild swings. Wild swings, you guys, in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
3 months. In the last 3 months, wild swings. From a trauma, like from a just speeding up, going too fast, not being able to slow myself down. So I think that the practice, right, is like now that I don't have as much going on, I need to practice as much as I can, like recognizing and doing it, like pumping the brakes so that I don't go into a thing where I say the thing or send the text or make the call or like lash out in some way, shape or form. Or just like make a just random ass decision that's like going to cost me a lot of money. That's like, wait, what?
Right.
So I'm like, definitely feel like I've done my best this week at practicing that thing in a time of like no distractions. So that when I get back into a place where I'm like working all the time and things are stressful in other ways, I don't default to the tornado.
Yeah, well, you'll be in good practice by that time.
One might hope.
Hopefully. Well, I'm really proud of you. That is not easy. And it's, as we said, it's not easy to reflect on. It's not easy to reflect on anything, to be honest. Like, it's hard for all of us. And we're just not taught these skills.
No, we're really not. Wait, do you watch the other two?
Yes.
Have you watched the new season?
Oh, I haven't started the new season yet.
Oh my God, there's a thing that happens in the first episode with the sister that is so cringe and I relate so hard to
that
my God. It was like hard for me to watch. It's like definitely a heightened version of a thing, but like it made me uncomfortable to watch it because I felt like, oh God, I know it. It involves like her boyfriend trying to just be nice to her when she's like clearly going through a thing.
Right.
And she just like goes fucking nuts. And then can't, like you can see it. It's so well written.
She can't pull it back.
She can't pull it back. And you see it happening. Yeah. And like that is the thing also that I feel like I'm so... That is my thing,
Yeah.
I can be in the fucking thing and see it and be like, fucking stop it.
Yeah.
And I won't.
I had a situation once where that happened to me, like the other person was having that kind of reaction. And to their credit, later said, I'm sorry about the way that went down, but you know how it is sometimes. It's like being a baseball player. Have you ever seen a baseball player go nuts and like hit the water cooler in the dugout because of like what's happening in the game?
Yes.
And it was kind of like that. And I was just like, I am not a water cooler.
Yeah.
I'm not your water cooler.
That's right.
So like while I appreciate this half apology, here's why that analogy doesn't exactly work.
It's not,
but
also it's going to be a no from me.
But also, I was like, a lot of us are going around thinking we're beating up a water cooler sometimes, and you can't stop. You feel like it's fucking hard.
It is.
It's fucking hard.
Really is.
Yeah.
It's crazy hard. In fact, it's almost, by the way, almost impossible.
Almost impossible.
Almost impossible. But we are.
We're trying. And it seems like we're getting better at it.
You know what I think we are? I don't know. I think you're in a particular season and a moment that's like really fucking rough. And I hope that you are able to like feel everything that you need to feel and you don't think you need to just move on from it, because it's okay for you to feel these things and not move on quickly from it. Because I think that you haven't allowed yourself to grieve a lot of things in your life that you need to grieve.
No, I mean,
I know.
Hardly anything.
I know. And I just want that for you. I want you to be able to do that.
Well, thank you. I love you and I appreciate you.
I love you too. I really do. I'm so grateful that you came into my life every fucking day. Thank you, Paul F. Tompkins, and me for having that weird idea that you were the only person. I just knew it. See?
I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that too, Like I probably don't tell you enough, but it's a big deal to have someone like just call you up and be like, "Hey, we don't know each other that well, but I believe in you."
In fact, you're the only person I want for this job. And you're like, surely there are other people. I'll help you find them. And I was like, no, it's so weird. It's just you.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I needed that at that time. You know what I mean? And like, I tried to say no because I was trying to be practical, because I'm always trying to be practical. But it was always going to be yes, So.
And here we are.
And here we are.
I have a sleeping teenager to go attend to. I know, sweet little baby.
I'm glad Bert is getting some rest. It sounds like it's an exhausting time in a kid's life.
I think it really fucking is, man. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well.
All right, guys.
Listen. I think we went through all of the core emotions today.
Yeah, I think everything. Covered it all.
Everything. Oh, wait. I do want to say one thing. Who was I with?
Say it.
My God. Shit. My memory. Dude. Fuck my memory.
I think like our memories are not good right now.
Yeah, it is weird. Maybe it was Bonnie in the car on the way. Yeah, it was on the way to dinner. Was telling me a story about her friend's dog who, they went to Central Park. I guess in Central Park, before 9 a.m., dogs can be off leash, which I have a new goal for like a Saturday morning of like getting up and out of the house and to Central Park at like 8 a.m. so Gina can like feel the freedom of Central Park.
Yeah.
But she brought her friend's dog there with her friend, and the dog is like adorable, but like always mischievous and like crazy and headstrong. And so this is like a good dog story. But anyway, it all ties in, as it always does. So the dog like got away from like the general area of where all the dogs were, and there was a little league game being played in the like one of the fields.
Yeah.
And the dog went through the fence and looked back at the owner, and the owner was like, he'll come. He's like such a good dog. He'll come. Don't worry. He'll like come. And he like shouted for him to come. And the dog like looked at him, looked at the little kids playing ball, looked back at him, and then just ran straight for the children. And is like a schnauzer, like terrier, not even like a scary looking dog, like a sort of small-ish dog, and went immediately and like got the softball. And then it was like all these like little kids like like little kids, like T-ball, like chasing the dog and like falling all over the place and da-da-da-da-da. And the parents, and then this is the part where Bonnie was saying, and then all the parents were freaking out and like screaming, like, get your dog under control. What's wrong with you? Da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, don't they know that they just managed to create a core memory for their like essentially toddlers of this like T-ball dog fiasco, and that this will be the thing, the only thing probably most of them will remember about playing softball or T-ball, like when they were little kids, is the day that the dog came and like destroyed the game and like ate the ball and they couldn't get it back. And like, this is like so frequently, I feel like that reaction needs to just, that's the slowing down piece. You know what I mean? Like if one person, one parent could have like slowed down in that moment and seen the scene for what it was, which is like unbelievably joyous and like cinematic, you know? And chaotic and like kind of annoying, but also all things can be true.
Yeah.
Anyway, core memories.
That's a real, I love
core
that.
memories, all the emotions. I was just thinking about Inside Out, I guess, as well.
Yeah. It's a good time to rewatch Inside Out.
It is. Maybe you should do that tonight.
All right. We will talk to all of you so soon.
So soon. We love you, you guys.
Bye.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Oh, no.